Chapter 261. As soon as Black 2 said this, the barbarian race and the people of Hidden Island quickly strengthened their protection of the two. Although they didn't know the meaning behind Hey 2's words, in the past, there had never been a precedent of killing a leader in such a chaotic battle. Of course, Yi Qinghan had killed Yao Kaka in an instant during the prefecture battle. Even if Black 2 said that he didn't have the strength to kill Man Gon and Invikil, the barbarian race and the people of Hidden Island still carefully protected the two. Man Gon was the young clan leader. Last time, he lost a finger, and the clan leader, Man Shun, was furious. Invikil was the leader of Hidden Island who was wearing flowery clothes. Invikil was obviously his nickname. Although the name didn't sound good, Invikil was the disciple of a big shot on Hidden Island. If he died, the entire team would be finished. Bullsh *T. Do you think I'm scared? Let me tell you, I started killing at the age of 6 and raped beauties at the age of 10. I've run amok on Hidden Island for decades. I'm not afraid at all. Brothers, beat this bastard down. Invikil shook his head and didn't care about Black 2's threat at all. However, just as he was about to call for people to beat Black 2 down, two experts beside him suddenly fell to the ground inexplicably. Their bodies were black, and blood flowed out of their orifices. Invikil, if you don't believe me, you'll be the one to die in the next second. Reckless, if you don't believe me, then two of you will die too. A gloomy voice came from the center of the Divine City's emissaries, scaring everyone. Ah! At this time, two more screams sounded, scaring everyone even more, causing them to stop fighting. Man Gon looked at the two people who suddenly fell to the ground in front of him. Their deaths were exactly the same as the people beside Invikil. His expression changed, and he quickly retreated as if he had seen a ghost. Ah! Invikil, reckless, hurry up and tell your people to retreat. The next person to die will be the two of you. Tuhei's expression changed several times when he saw this. He gave Shui Wuheng a deep look before laughing loudly and speaking arrogantly. Invikil didn't act arrogantly this time. His face turned pale. He didn't feel any attack, just now. The people from Divine City actually killed two peak Emperor Realm experts on his side without him noticing. He knew very well that the strength of the two people who died was not much weaker than him. His complexion changed. He waved his hand and cursed the people of Hidden Island to retreat. He didn't dare to act recklessly. He was a person who was afraid of death. Otherwise, he wouldn't have surrendered to Yi Qinghan in the last prefecture battle. At that moment, he realized that there was someone like Yi Qinghan who could easily kill him. Of course, he immediately retreated. His movements were very clean. That's more like it. Ugh, it's a pity that the dagger is gone. Tuhei happily picked up a spear and a set of azure battle armor that his subordinates handed over. When he tested them, he discovered that they were both holy tools. He was in a good mood. At the same time, he threw the armor toward Shui Wuheng, who was one of the golden-robed envoys. At the same time, he was a little puzzled. There was also a dagger that suddenly disappeared after the battle started. However, he didn't think too much about it. After all, the dagger was too small. The situation was so chaotic just now. He guessed that the unknown expert might have kept the dagger, and no one would know. Shui Wuheng didn't stand on ceremony. He put on the battle armor, making his golden robe look a little out of place. However, he didn't care. This was a holy tool. After putting it on, he wouldn't care about ordinary attacks from Emperor Realm experts. Moreover, he had 12 insects. After the test just now, he could easily kill everyone here. Now he was the strongest person here. His defense was the strongest, and his attack was invincible. However, after so many years of growth in the Divine City, he wisely chose to keep a low profile. He still didn't take off the golden hat on his head. Instead, he stood quietly among the golden-robed envoys without saying a word. There was no benefit, and there was no need. Of course, he wouldn't be stupid enough to expose his identity. He just looked at the small team from the House of Ares in the corner in the distance with some pity. If the people from the House of Ares had participated in the battle just now, he would have secretly killed all the people from the Yi family and the Yu family. Then, he would continue killing until there was no one left in the House of Ares. Of course, at this moment, he wouldn't foolishly kill them. After all, having a holy tool didn't mean that he was invincible. After a round of attacks from others, he would be seriously injured even if he didn't die. Haha, everyone, let's disperse and find the exit of the 9th level. I wish you all good luck. Black 2 waved his golden spear. He was in a good mood when he felt that it was extremely powerful. At the same time, he had a very good impression of Shui Wuan. This brat was actually so powerful and knew how to behave. Not bad. Sigh, boring. Let's disperse like this. I haven't had enough fun yet. Lu Shi, on the other hand, was very happy watching from the hall of the 12th stage. However, when Tu He and Shui Wuheng took action, Invekil and Man Gan became afraid and immediately stopped fighting. They split up and walked away, which made Lu Shi very angry. The once-in-a-decade God-slaying mountain was Lu Shi's best entertainment. After all, he had stayed in this damn place for thousands of years. If he didn't have any fun, he would definitely go crazy. However, when he was about to make everyone dizzy again and return here, scattering a few treasures for them to continue fighting, he suddenly felt that there was some slight movement in the carefree pavilion on the other side of the space turbulence. Little Han, are you going to refine it so soon? Sigh. There's no more fun. Let's play a big one last time. Lu Shi looked at the people passing through the canyon on the screen and revealed a sinister smile. At the same time, his hands did not stop moving. Countless chi swords emerged and began to control the mechanisms of the God-slaying mountain. After a while, with his last strike, the entire God-slaying mountain began to shake. At the same time, the white fog in the God-slaying mountain became thicker. The people in the 9th level canyon felt the ground shake, and then their bodies suddenly trembled and could not move. They could not help but turn pale with fear. The God-slaying mountain will no longer exist in the future. Go back. I'll give you one last chance to snatch treasures. Kill them well. Kill them ruthlessly. Whoever kills more will get more. It's been thousands of years. I'm finally going to leave this damn place. Lu Shi let out a long laugh. With a look of relief on his face, his figure flashed and he disappeared. What happened? The abnormality of the God-slaying mountain obviously alarmed Yi Tianlong and the others outside. The old guys who were guarding outside walked out of the camp one after another and stared at the constantly shaking and rumbling God-slaying mountain. Their expressions changed greatly. Little Han, Yi Qingyu, Yi Chong, don't let anything happen to you. Why haven't Xiao Wu and Qingqing come out of the heavenly road yet? Chapter 262. Yi Tianlong did not speak, but frowned slightly. Beside him, Yi Qingyu was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. He paced back and forth, muttering worriedly. Several clan grand elders were also very anxious. They looked at the exit of the heavenly road and cursed the Emperor Realm experts guarding Yi Qingwu and Yu Qingqing. They should have brought them out as soon as something strange happened. The Massacre God Guard on the left side of the heavenly road did not look good either. This time, the Divine Master had given a death order to obtain the supreme treasure of the God-slaying mountain. Therefore, the 4 Massacre God Guards had been mobilized to hold the fort. However, with the strange phenomenon happening on the God-slaying mountain, he was very uncertain and could not help but feel anxious. The barbarian race and demon race were also very anxious, especially the barbarian race. Their young clan leader was inside. The mountain kept shaking. If all the people inside were buried alive, how were they going to explain it to their superiors? It was not that Tianqing, Yi Qingwu, and Yu Qingcheng did not notice the strange phenomenon happening on the God-slaying mountain, nor did they not act immediately. It was just that, by the time they realized the strange phenomenon, they could not leave. The God-slaying mountain shook. The Emperor Realm experts in charge of protection immediately went to their young masters and young mistresses and guarded them tightly. At the same time, they circulated their battle chi and prepared to rush out of the heavenly road. Just that, suddenly, a white light flashed, and countless people suddenly appeared in the Heavens Road Plaza, causing the spacious Heavens Road Plaza to become a little crowded. Furthermore, the white fog became even thicker, and there were people everywhere. In such a strange situation, they did not dare to move and could only stay close to each other and defend. F***CK. Why are we back? Why are we back on the heavenly road? What's going on? We are not done with the trials, and it is not time yet. Damn it, I did not get a single treasure. No, start again, start again. At this time, Invakil's voice rang out in the hall. His unique way of cursing made everyone understand a very strange thing. They were back on the heavenly road. Just now, they were strangely unable to move in the 9th trial. Then, with a sudden flash of white light, they were all back on the heavenly road. That's not right. Didn't Lord Devour say that the supreme treasure of the god-slaying mountain would appear? What's going on? We're still trying to break through. How strange, how strange. I can't even enter the passageway? What the hell? Tuhei's voice also sounded from the right. Although he had obtained a divine weapon this time, he did not obtain the supreme treasure of the god-slaying mountain. He did not know how to face the divine lord when he returned, so he hurriedly shouted anxiously, "That's not fair. It's not time yet. We still have to clear the stage." Yi Chang's voice rang out for the 3rd time. Yi Qinghan hadn't seen anyone yet. Why did he come out? If he went out like this, how would he face Yi Tianlong and the Night Blue Bull? Therefore, he also cried out anxiously. Yi Chang's voice, however, made Tianqing happy. He kept Yi Chang close to him and hurriedly brought Yi Qingwu, Yu Qingqing, and the others towards Yi Chang. Why are you still inside? Nonsense. As soon as Yi Qingwu, Yu Qingqing, Feng Zihua, and Long Shuelu approached, they were immediately protected. Yi Chang wanted to curse. At this moment, in such a chaotic situation, these juniors were adding to the chaos. Third uncle, where's Little Han? Aunt Ro, where's Yi Qinghan? As soon as Yi Qingwu and Yu Qingsheng went over, they immediately looked for Yi Qinghan in the crowd. However, after looking around a few times, they did not see that familiar figure, so they could not help but ask anxiously. If you haven't found Yi Qinghan, don't talk and stay still. The situation is very chaotic and very strange. Something big is going to happen. Yi Chang shook his head. Then, as if he had discovered something, he hurriedly instructed in a low voice. At the same time, he ordered the experts of the Yi family to all circulate their battle chi and be on high alert. The other experts of the House of Aries also seemed to have discovered something. They stopped talking and began to observe the situation around them. Tuhei and Invakil did not call out again. They each ordered their team members to be on high alert. For a time, the heavenly road gradually quieted down. Everyone began to secretly prepare and wait quietly. This was because they discovered that the fog in the heavenly road square was slowly thinning. At the same time, a very oppressive aura began to envelop the entire hall. This aura was the aura of a god-level expert. Hello, everyone. I am the guardian of the God-Down Mountain, the great Lord Lu Shi. The most precious treasure of the God-Down Mountain will appear today. After today, this old man will leave the God-Down Mountain. In the future, the God-Down Mountain will no longer exist. This will be your last chance to enter and seize the treasure. Later on, this old man will scatter 100 treasures. After half an hour, the person who obtains the most treasures will be the winner. You will have the opportunity to obtain the most precious treasure. I wish you all good luck. An abrupt voice sounded out abruptly like a thunderclap in the middle of the night, and it blasted everyone to the point they were all dumbstruck and dazed, and it exploded to the point their hearts rose to their throats. 100 treasures? With the appearance of the supreme treasure, the rules had changed? Tuhei laughed. His laughter was extremely wanton, extremely joyful, and extremely brilliant. The rules had actually become so simple. Wasn't this clearly giving the supreme treasure to him and the God City? He and Shui Wuhan had joined forces. In addition to the formidable strength of the God City, the final victory would undoubtedly belong to the God City. The leader of the demons cried. In the 9th stage, the demons had already suffered the greatest losses. Now that there was another group battle, the demons would definitely be the stepmother's children again. They were always being bullied. This time, when they returned to the Heaven Demon City, they would definitely be severely punished by the Demon God Mountain. He was in a dilemma. Should he do it or not? This was a very difficult choice. If he didn't do it, he would be too ashamed to return. Moreover, where would he find the dignity and glory that he wanted to regain? Just do it? He was very afraid that he would end up like his two subordinates, bleeding from all 7 orifices and directly turning into a pile of rotten flesh. Invakil, on the other hand, had a strange smile on his face. He laughed so hard that his body trembled slightly. Group battle was good. Group battle was good. If they didn't group battle, how could they fish in troubled waters? The absolute strength that the God City had displayed in the 9th stage had definitely become the greatest threat to the various forces. What if he instigated it later? It was still unknown who would emerge victorious. Yi Chang, on the other hand, was anxious. He didn't want the treasures, not even the supreme treasure. He only wanted Yi Qinghan. Now that the protector of the fallen god mountain clearly didn't want them to continue, how could he find Yi Qinghan? Hence, he anxiously shouted, "I don't want the supreme treasure. Senior, please let me continue. I'm here to find someone." Yu Qingsheng was also anxious. Her pale face was flushed because of the urgency. However, with so many elders present, how could a woman like her shout? As a result, her flushed face became even redder than the peach blossom on her head. Chapter 263. Yi Qingwu was also anxious, but Yi Qingyu was even more anxious. However, just as they were about to yell and quarrel, at Yi Chang's signal, a few elders beside them suddenly made a move. They knocked the two unconscious and protected them strictly. The situation was already so bad and complicated. Yi Chang didn't want any more accidents to happen. Yi Chang's angry roar was met with silence and the rustling sound of rain. Various colorful and oddly shaped objects began to fall slowly from above their heads. There were shining golden sabers, shining white swords, huge axes, dark green bows and arrows, rings, jade bracelets, clothes, and armors. Countless treasures floated strangely in the air like a drizzle in spring, falling and fluttering with the wind. Ha! Divine City, victory is certain. Those who stand in my way shall die. He too made his move in an incomparably domineering manner. He immediately released his battle chi, which transformed into a huge palm that swept towards the treasures in the air. Of course, his hand wasn't the dragon catcher hand and couldn't grab physical objects. However, his intention was clear. He wanted to sweep most of the treasures in the direction of the Divine City. Swish! Swish! On the other side of the Divine City, countless people rose into the air after He, too, made his move and flew towards the treasures in the air. Damn it, the Divine City wants to keep everything for themselves. Everyone, let's kill the people of the Divine City first. The Divine City is too arrogant. If we don't kill them, everyone will die. Kill! House of Ares, let's join forces and take down the Divine City. We'll split the treasures 50-50. You guys deal with the small fries, and we'll kill their leaders. Hidden Island made its move. However, there was only a chaotic roar, the clanking of weapons, and the noise of people moving around. Although they were shouting fiercely, they were all putting on an act. They stood on the spot and didn't move at all. Instead, it was the demon race and the barbarian race that were moving. When the demon race leader and Mangon heard this, they suddenly thought, "That's right. Even elephants are afraid of ants. Why would the 4 powers not be afraid of exterminating the people of the Divine City?" Initially, when they saw the people of the Divine City carrying so many treasures, they were already very envious. But now, after being incited by the people from the Hidden Killer organization, they immediately became impulsive. So, under the command of Mangon and the leader of the Demon Clan, all of them moved out. Destroy the God City. Don't leave a single one alive. The experts of God City have so many treasures on them. Let's kill them all and split the spoils. When the demon race and barbarian race made their move, the people of Hidden Island naturally made their move. They shouted loudly, and all of them attacked the people of Divine City. The chaotic battle started again, and chaos instantly descended upon the entire Heavens Road Square. However, this chaotic battle was different from the previous one. This time, it was a battle between the Hidden Island the man-dwellers and the demon race and the divine city. Ah, another scuffle? Should he do it? Everyone, take a stand. This is a good opportunity. Feng Xiaoxiao looked at the battlefield in front of her. The divine city's formation had been thrown into disarray by the attacks from 3 different parties. The divine city's formation had been broken apart, and countless people had died. He licked his lips and said sneakily. The eyes of the leaders of the House of Aries burned with passion. This was a good opportunity. If the people of Divine City were destroyed, the House of Aries would have a great chance. After all, the House of Aries had not lost many people. The Yi family will withdraw from the fight for the treasure. If you want to go, you can go. Guardians, the Yi family doesn't want the treasure. Please help us find someone. Just as the crowd was hesitating, Yi Chang shouted loudly and winked at the leaders. He then looked at Yu Rou meaningfully. The Yu family will withdraw from the fight. We're here to help the Yi family find someone. If you want to go, you can go. Yu Rou understood and quickly shouted. Feng Xiaoxiao, Hua Lu, and Long Fei also understood. The 3 of them began to scold each other. Feng Xiaoxiao was the first to scold. Yi Chang, Yu Rou, you have no sense of brotherhood. If your families aren't going to fight, why should we fight? We'll have to watch the show. Longqing only wants 10 treasures. We'll have an explanation when we return. Longqing will withdraw from the fight for the treasure. Long Fei leaped into the air and used his dragon catcher hand to grab the 10 treasures in the air. He then returned to the House of Aries and did not make another move. The Hua family also wants 10 treasures. They will withdraw from the fight for the treasure. Hua Lu immediately went stealthily. His figure flashed in the air and disappeared. When he returned, he was holding 10 treasures. F*CK the Feng family also wants 10 treasures. We'll have an explanation when we return. Feng Xiaoxiao could not take it anymore. She immediately rode on her sword and brought back 10 treasures. After the people of the House of Aries had taken 30 treasures, they immediately retreated to a corner and stood guard. They looked like they were only defending and not attacking. Lord Guardian, please give us another chance. Let the Yi family and the Yu family go in again. We won't take any treasures. We're only looking for someone. Yi Chang continued to shout, but received no response. Their performance was very successful. The people of the demon race and the barbarian race's hidden island divine city were stunned and confused. Was the battle god Manor putting on an act? Or was it for real? From the looks of it, that seems to be the case. However, they had heard a little about Yi Chang'an. Yi Chang's shout was very sincere, very affectionate, and very emotional. This made them believe it a little more. Moreover, they were currently in a heated battle with the divine city. They did not have the time to care. At most, if the House of Aries really wanted a share of the loot, the 3 forces could continue to form an alliance and destroy the House of Aries. Hence, the hidden island and the barbarians saw that the House of Aries did not make any further moves. They did not care about them. Instead, they increased the intensity of their attacks on the divine city. Meanwhile, the divine city could not even take care of itself. How could it care about the little tricks of the House of Aries? Invikill, Mangon, Demon Chicken, the 3 of you are courting death. Shui Wuhan, kill the 3 of them for me. I will reward you handsomely later. Tuhei was no longer as arrogant as before. In just a short while, a third of the experts of the divine city had been killed or injured under the joint attack of the 3 forces. This made him extremely frustrated and furious. He could not help but wave his palms a few times and roar in anger. Shui Wuhan? Shui Wuhan. The familiar name made countless people in the House of Aries widen their eyes and frown. Long Sinan slowly took out her Dragon Cry sword. Feng Zi clenched her fists and cracked her knuckles. A hint of gloom flashed across her beautiful eyes. Yu Qingqing's flushed face turned dark red. The dark red of anger, idiot. A hint of anger flashed across Shui Wuhan's gray and black eyes. He cursed Tuhei in his heart. Just now, he had already assassinated more than 10 experts in the dark. As long as the people of the divine city could hold on for a little longer, then he would be able to kill a large number of experts from the 3 constabularies. This way, he could slowly establish the divine city's victory. Now, Tuhei, That idiot had not only exposed his identity, but also ruined his plans. However, his eyes flickered a few times, and he sighed helplessly. But after a while, his face became slightly excited. A hint of ruthlessness appeared at the corner of his mouth. He said, "Invakil, man gone, demon chicken, I will count to 3. If you don't stop, don't blame me for being rude." Chapter 264. Man Gone felt a chill run down his spine when he heard Xue Wuhan's sinister words. They were very familiar with this voice. It was the voice that killed 2 of their powerful subordinates in an instant during the 9th stage. Therefore, the 2 of them didn't waste any more words and immediately retreated into the protective circle of their subordinates. What kind of dog is this? How dare he be so arrogant? Xue Wuhan? The Xue family? Why did he go to the divine city to be a dog? The demonic chicken was at the 9th stage earlier and wasn't in the middle of the battlefield. It didn't understand what was going on. Therefore, when it saw Xue Wuhan shouting so arrogantly, it scolded him impolitely. However, in the next second, 6 golden lights flew towards the demonic chicken from the direction of the divine city's team. The demonic chicken subordinates, and he hurriedly blocked and attacked. The demonic chicken even burned its demonic artifact and turned it into a defensive barrier. However, when the 6 golden lights arrived in front of them, they realized that they were not hidden weapons. They were actually flying insects. The 6 golden-shelled insects were very fast, and even though they were surrounded by so many people, they were able to escape from their encirclement. In the end, they directly attacked the monster chicken's body, which was burning its demon artifact and releasing its demon shield. The demonic chicken was at the peak of the demonic Tharch realm. At this moment, it burned its demonic artifact in exchange for a demonic shield that could block countless peak Emperor realm martial artist attacks at the same time. In front of Xue Wuhan's insects, it was like a half-naked girl facing a rapist. It didn't put up any resistance and was directly broken through. The 6 golden insects pierced through the demonic chicken's neck and head and disappeared mysteriously into the demonic chicken's body. The demonic chicken's entire body turned black. Streams of black blood flowed out from the black holes in its head and neck, shocking everyone present. To tell you the truth, I have a lot of these insects. They are secretly hiding in the soil under your feet. They are extremely poisonous. Anyone who is bitten will die in a second. So everyone, if you don't want to die, then all of you better stand still. Xue Wuhan slowly took off the golden hat on his head, revealing a pair of peculiar eyes and a handsome face. That's right. Since his identity had been exposed, he would stand up openly and proudly. He would announce to the people of the continent and the people of the House of Aries that he, Xue Wuhan, had returned. Ugh. The 3 experts from the demonic god manor were preparing to launch a sneak attack to avenge the death of the demonic chicken. But just as they were about to move, they suddenly screamed in pain. Their faces turned black as they collapsed to the ground. Beneath their feet, a golden light flashed and vanished. Black blood spurted out from their feet, and the blood that spurted out was exactly the same as the demonic chicken's. Apparently, he was assassinated by Xue Wuhan again. At the same time, 2 strange cries came from the barbarian god manor and the hidden island, and 2 more people fell to the ground. Don't move! Don't move! This time, Man Gone and Invakil panicked and shouted. The bloody truth told them that Xue Wuhan had a pair of peculiar eyes and a gloomy aura. The person in front of him with strange eyes and a gloomy aura was someone he couldn't afford to offend. Otherwise, the consequences would be tragic, extremely tragic. The demonic god Manor's side also panicked. The demonic chicken and the 2 people who died earlier were the strongest experts in the team. They died so suddenly and in such a miserable way. They didn't even have the chance to say their last words. And they were completely scared out of their wits. In fact, what they were most afraid of was not Xue Wuhan's strength, but the way he attacked was too strange and swift. Who knew how many worms were buried in the soil under their feet? Who knew, in the next second, countless worms would crawl out and turn them all into rotten corpses? Yi Chong was shocked, Yi Ro was shocked, Yu Qingchen was shocked. The people of the House of Aries were shocked. They saw Shui Wuhan's unintentional glance at them. In that pair of gray and black eyes, there was coldness, laughter, and arrogance, but what they saw most was hatred. Monstrous hatred. Hatred that made their bodies turn cold. The scene of Shui Fei and Shui Piao Rou committing suicide in Dragon City appeared in their minds. They understood that Shui Wuhan was back for revenge to kill Ha. Well done, Shui Wuhan, well done. Later, I will reward you handsomely and report to the Master God about your achievements. Now, I order you to kill Invicil. He was the one who encouraged the demonic god manner. Black 2 walked over with big strides, his face full of pride, smiles, and arrogance. But before he could finish his sentence, his face suddenly changed. His eyes looked at his feet in horror, and his body trembled. He pointed at Shui Wuhan, wanting to curse, but he couldn't say anything and fell to the ground dead. Below his feet, there were 2 bloody holes, and black blood was flowing out. I don't need your reward. I will report to the Master God. I have reserved the position of the 5th guard of the Divine City half a year ago, so you can die now. Emissary of the Divine City. Now that I am leading the team, you don't have any objections, right? Shui Wuhan turned his head around and stared at the crowd of Divine City eerily. When he saw the crowd of Divine City nodding their heads in fear, he smiled eerily. He turned to Invicil and said slowly, "Then, the treasure belongs to me. I think everyone has no objections, right? I am not a person who likes to kill. I like to be reasonable. So, people who reason with me usually live a long life. Young Master Shui, I like reasonable people the most. I have no objections." Invicil was the first to respond, raising his hand in agreement. Mangan also wanted to raise his hand, but he suddenly realized that his raised hand was missing a middle finger. He quickly retracted his hand and said with a charming smile, Young Master Shui, of course I have no objections. Back on Nether Island, I already knew that you like to be reasonable. Ha! The treasure belongs to the strong. Of course I have no objections. The demon race has no objections." The people of the demon race quickly followed suit, as if afraid that another person would die if they answered too late. It's good that no objections. You see, I like to be reasonable the most. Okay, you guys stay here. I guarantee your safety. Shui Wuhan very elegantly touched a few strands of hair in front of his forehead. His smile was very charming and very bright. After a while, he twisted his neck, turned around, and looked at the House of Ares. He narrowed his eyes, and his smile became even brighter. He said, since we were talking about being reasonable, then I think I need to reason with the big shots of the House of Ares." As Shui Wuhan raised his gentle smile and narrowed his eyes, the experts of the House of Ares collectively shivered. At this moment, they seemed to feel a cold winter wind blowing in the god-slaying mountain, and it was cold to the bone. Chapter 265. At this moment, Yi Qinghan felt very warm, very excited, and very refreshed. He had refined the carefree ring. He had defeated the god-slaying mountain. He could finally go home. He was a child who had wandered outside for 5 years, struggling alone for 5 years, not daring to miss home, not daring to miss, not daring to rest. He could only muster up his courage, fight with all his might, desperately cultivate and move forward. He just wanted to find a way home, a way to see his family and his woman again. Today, he had finally found this way, and he had already reached the exit of the road. He was about to jump out of this cage and go home, back to his woman and his family. Moreover, he had brought many treasures, powerful strength, and was returning home in glory. How could he not feel warm, not excited, not happy? He wanted to shout, laugh, and roll on the ground to express his feelings at this moment. However, he told himself that he was no longer young. He was no longer the 7th son of the Yi family. He was an expert, a big shot, and he had to have a temperament, so he forced himself to calm down. He stood up and put the carefree ring on his ring finger, lining it up with the Soul Emperor ring. Then he shouted in a very restless voice, "Elder Lu, it's thundering, it's raining. Come back to collect the clothes." Xiao! Lu Shi appeared in a flash. Although there was a lively battle on the heavenly road, he had no time to watch because Yi Qinghan had finished refining the ring, and he was going to take Yi Qinghan out. Little Han, you're very efficient. Ha! What's the matter? Are you impatient? We're going back. Looking at Yi Qinghan's flushed face, he laughed mockingly. Yes, please take me out, Elder Lu. I'm homesick. Yi Qinghan was not joking, but said very seriously, his eyes slightly burning. Okay, I'll take you out. Are you going to leave the God-slaying mountain, or go back to your home? Where is your home? I can teleport you there. Lu Shi stopped joking around. He could see that Yi Qinghan was calm on the surface, but deep down, he was eager to return home. He was extremely excited. Therefore, in his heart, he felt a surge of tender affection for Yi Qinghan. No matter what, he was still a child. My home is in Song City, Yi family castle. By the way, has the God-slaying mountain's heavenly path opened yet? Yi Qinghan replied honestly, but he suddenly thought of a problem. If it was time for the opening of the God-slaying mountain, perhaps someone from the Yi family was already outside the God-slaying mountain, or perhaps they had already entered. Huh? Didn't I tell you that as soon as you entered the Carefree Pavilion, the God-slaying mountain opened? Right now, there's a group of people fighting on the Heavens Road. Ha! Lu Shi laughed heartily. He was still reminiscing about the group of people he had arranged to fight twice in a row. What? They've already started fighting. No, someone from the Yi clan must have come. The old ancestor must have told them that I'm still alive. Maybe even Qing Wu has come. Not good. Old Lu, please take me to the Heavens Road immediately. I want to take a look. Yi Qinghan's back was drenched in cold sweat when he heard this. Your relatives are down there? Oh, why didn't you say so earlier? Before you go down, I have to tell you that Master has given me an order. Before you go to the Divine Realm, apart from ensuring your safety, I can only help you 3 times. If you want me to help you, you must be careful. Lu Shi touched his face and said embarrassedly. At the same time, he thought of something and hurriedly explained. 3 times? Enough! Elder Lu, please take me down. Yi Qinghan's eyes flashed, and he nodded. Okay, let's go. Lu Shi did not waste any more time. His figure flashed and disappeared from the Ecstasy Pavilion with Yi Qinghan. Young Master Feng, Young Master Hua, Lady Qingsheng, Lady Long, Young Master Long, everyone is here. And the experts from the House of Aries. My lords, I, Shui Wuhan, am pleased to meet you. At that moment, Shui Wuhan took out a folding fan out of nowhere and began fanning himself in an elegant manner. However, he was wearing a set of cyan armor on the outside and a set of golden robes on the inside. He was no longer as elegant as he used to be. Instead, he appeared somewhat strange. Young Master Shui, you're too kind. I can't accept your courtesy. Feng Zi was a straightforward person. Since he had fallen out with Shui Wuhan in the past, he did not want to get back at him now. He laughed coldly. Shui Wuhan, stop fanning yourself. You're wearing a dog's robe. You can't fan yourself as elegantly as you used to be. Hua Xia, who was obviously courageous, said sarcastically. Young Master Shui, actually, I've always regretted it. Yu Qingqing also faintly opened her mouth. Her clear and melodious voice caused Shui Wuhan's brows to twitch. He was a little surprised. Unexpectedly, the second half of Yu Qingqing's words made him directly crush his folding fan into pieces. I regret getting to know a piece of trash like you. There's a saying that goes, a dog inside a bone. Although it's wearing a human skin, it can't change its servile nature. Yu Qingqing was obviously in despair. She could not find Yi Qinghan, and Shui Wuhan obviously would not let them go. She had already decided to die, so she was very blunt with her words. He's a bad guy. I know him. He beat up my brother in the past. At this moment, Yi Qingyu and Yi Qingwu woke up. Yi Qingyu looked at Shui Wuhan and suddenly opened her eyes wide. She pointed at Shui Wuhan and said coldly, Ha! The humiliating words of the crowd had obviously driven Shui Wuhan a little mad. He directly tore away his polite and graceful facade. His face turned ferocious as he roared. You're the one who's going to die. Good, very good. I'm a dog. I'm useless. Yi Qinghan is good. Yi Qinghan is strong. Yi Qinghan is not bad. He's the hero of the House of Aries. He stole my woman and forced my father and my master to death. But where is he now? Ask him to come out? Huh? Let me tell you, he's already dead. But I'm standing here, and I can control your life and death. No, even if he's not dead, I can still kill him with one finger. So he's a piece of trash, a dog. So what if he's a genius? When a genius dies, he's a piece of trash. I, Shui Wuhan, can stand here today and control your life and death. I'm the genius. I'm the hero. Don't say that I didn't give you a chance. From the Yi family and the Yu family. Other than Yi Qingwu, Yi Qingyu and Yu Qingsheng, if the rest of you commit suicide now, I can let the rest of you go. Of course, Yu Qingsheng, Yi Qingwu, and Yi Qingyu. You must marry me and serve me well. I want to torture Yi Qinghan's women every day. Otherwise, today, I'll let all of you die without a complete corpse from the House of Aries. Ha! Shui Wuhan's maniacal laughter reverberated in the hall of Heaven's Road. His face was sinister and even slightly distorted. He was like a dog hiding in the small pavilion in the God City. He lived a useless life, struggling at death's door, and trained hard every day and night. It was all for the sake of returning openly, just like today. Chapter 266. He thought that with his powerful strength, he could even control the life and death of everyone present. He thought that the people from the divine battle manor would be afraid, terrified, and kneel in front of him to beg for his forgiveness. Who would have thought that all he heard was undisguised humiliation and insults? That was why he was mad, angry, and desperate. The death of his father and master, and the 5 years of living like a dog, were all released at this moment, causing his emotions to completely explode. Facing Shui Wuhan, who was like a mad dog, Invakil slightly shrunk his body and took 2 steps back. The people of the demon race, barbarian race, and Hidden Island God City did not dare to make a sound. They knew that Shui Wuhan was in the most danger at this moment. One wrong move, and he would be killed by a mad Shui Wuhan. Yi Chang's expression was very bad. This time, he brought Yi Tianlong, Yi Qingyo, Yi Baihu, and the hope of the Yi family. He thought that he would be able to rescue Yi Qinghan. But now, Yi Qinghan was not found, but Shui Wuhan suddenly appeared. He knew very well that Shui Wuhan could kill the demon chicken Tu Hei and so many experts. Then, no matter how he resisted, it would be useless. After all, he was very clear about the insects of the Shui family. Before he could resist or escape, they would definitely kill him. He would definitely die today. It didn't matter if he died. He always thought that one would have to pay the price sooner or later. But Yi Qingwu and Yi Qingyu could not die. Yu Qingsheng and the future hope of the other families could not die. Otherwise, he would become the sinner of the Yi family and the people of the House of Aries. So, after a moment, he had a definition in his heart. He spoke softly, Shui Wuhan, right? I think that when you're doing something, you should think of a way out for your Shui clan. If you kill all of us, I'm sure it won't take long for your Shui clan to be annihilated. You must have heard about what happened to you in Dragon City. No one will be able to save the Shui family if you incur the wrath of the masses. So, I'll give you a discount on your conditions. I, Yi Chang, will take responsibility for everything. I'll kill myself. How about letting the others go? Yi Chang wasn't wearing white today, but his cultured and refined scholarly temperament was very intoxicating. Yi Chang's words obviously aroused the admiration and admiration of everyone present. Even Invakil secretly gave him a thumbs up and sighed softly. What a real man. However, Yi Chang's heroic spirit and smile did not move Shui Wuhan. Shui Wuhan became even more furious when he heard that. His eyes began to turn slightly blood red. He sneered and said angrily, "My father, my master, the 2 closest people to me in the Shui clan have been forced to their deaths by you. I no longer have any attachment to the Shui clan. Today, I am here to avenge them. I don't want to waste my breath. I'll count to 5. If you don't kill yourselves, I'll make my move. Emissaries of the Divine City, heed my command. Prepare to attack. 1. Yi Chang sighed helplessly. He looked at Yu Rofeng, Xiao Longfei, and Xiao Rofeng. At the same time, His eyes flashed with the determination to die. At the same time, they sent a message to the experts of their clans. They were prepared to risk their lives to stall for time. Some of them would take advantage of the chaos to bring Feng Zilong, Sai Nan, and Yi Qingyu out of Heaven's Path. Once they got out of Heaven's Path, everything would be fine with Yi Tianlong and the others. As for them, they had no choice but to die for their clan, too. Yu Qingcheng, Yi Qingyu, and Yi Qingwu looked at each other. They didn't care about Shui Wuhan's counting. They knew what Yi Chong and the others were thinking. However, they didn't plan to escape. Instead, they looked at the gates of Heaven's Path. They seemed to be waiting for their men to appear. They were waiting for their men to appear. They were waiting for their men at the foot of Duanren Peak. He was stepping on the purple light. He was like a god descending to save them. They didn't want to leave. Without Yi Qinghan, there was no point in living anymore. They felt that if they couldn't die at the same time as Yi Qinghan, at least they could die in the same place. 3. The urging voice continued to ring out. The people of the Divine City took out their weapons one after another. Their auras swirled around them, waiting for Shui Wuhan to count to 5. Then, they would immediately attack and kill all the people from the Divine Battle Manor. The people from the Hidden Island, the barbarian race, and the monster race slowly took a few steps back. They didn't want to be affected by the battle. However, they didn't dare to run away. They were afraid that Shui Wuhan would kill them too. The battle was about to start. 4. Shui Wuhan's eyes gradually became cold. The corner of his mouth revealed a cold smile. He slowly raised his hand and was about to put it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We went up the mountain to kill the tiger. The tiger wasn't at home. We went to Wuhan's house. Why do we go to his house? Because we went to F***CK him. Ha! Everyone long time no see. Just as Shui Wuhan was about to count down to 5 and start killing, a frivolous and mocking voice was suddenly heard in the hall. A very obscene limerick had completely shattered the tense atmosphere. Ah! Oh! Huh? What was going on? Invakil was confused. He couldn't figure out who could be so talented, so courageous. How could he be as lewd as him? Mangon heard the voice. He held his left hand that didn't have a middle finger. He looked as if his father had died. He was puzzled. Didn't they say that good people would live long and bad people would all die a violent death? How could this scourge still be alive? Feng Zi grinned. Hua Hua and Long Shuelu smiled. They were thinking, when did this young master learn how to compose poems? And it seemed very neat, but Shui Wuhan's mother was so old. Why didn't he let her go? Yi Chong's elegant expression was no longer elegant. He was so excited that his body started to tremble. Yu Ro's eyes widened. Hua Lu's eyes widened. Feng Xiaoxiao and Long Fei's eyes widened too. They wanted to see clearly. Did this legendary young man have 3 heads and 6 arms? Otherwise, why would he be so ferocious? Yu Qingchen cried into a complete mess. Yi Qingwu cried until her face was covered in tears. Long Sinan cried, but she felt embarrassed, so she held back her tears. But unknowingly, they flowed down once again. Yi Qingyu didn't cry. She only felt that the mountain behind her had returned. As long as this mountain was there, she wouldn't be afraid of anything. She just smiled and called out softly, like a young girl welcoming her loved ones at the door of her home, affectionately calling out, "Brother." Shui Wuhan was furious. This scene was supposed to belong to him. He had been dreaming about it for a long time, but he couldn't understand. Why did he receive such a response when he made such a strong entrance? Why did this person steal all the limelight the moment he stepped onto the stage? But after a while, he figured it out and wasn't angry anymore. One more person coming to die was perfect for his revenge plan. This didn't seem too bad. So he smiled and said gently, "Yi Qinghan, you didn't take the road to heaven. Instead, you came to hell. Ha! I'll send you on your way today. I'll let you reunite in hell." Chapter 267. Yi Qinghan slowly walked out of the passageway. His footwork was very relaxed, and his expression was very satisfied. After 5 years, he was finally out. He wanted to shout, "I, Hu Han's Han, am finally back." However, Shui Wuhan's gloomy words interrupted his good mood. Hence, he waved his hand unhappily and said with a smile, Shui Wuhan, can we settle the score later? I don't really need this little bit of time. Let me see my family and friends that I haven't seen for a long time. After saying that, he ignored Shui Wuhan and the many experts nearby and frivolously walked towards the people from the House of Aries. Go, and say your last words. Later, I will let your family and women die in front of you one by one. I will let you have a taste of the pain that I have endured for the past 5 years. Shui Wuhan waved his hand and stopped the people from God City from attacking. He gracefully let Yi Qinghan walk over. He felt that this game was getting more and more fun. He was also thinking about how he should play later to make himself feel better. Brother, Yi Qingyu's innocent and charming face rippled with a warm smile. Seeing Yi Qinghan slowly walking over, she stretched out her hands. 5 years had passed. Her brother had changed. He had become taller and more mature. However, no matter how much he changed, Yi Qingyu could still recognize him at a glance. Han! Yu Qingqing softly called out, but her voice was immediately drowned out by choking sobs. She wiped the tears on her face while looking at Yi Qinghan. However, she seemed to realize that the tears on her face were increasing. Yi Qinghan, you bastard you. Yi Qingwu looked at the man who had stolen her innocence and heart. She wanted to scold him a few times, but she realized that she didn't know how to scold him. In the end, she simply continued to cry. Qingyu, be a good girl. I will cook for you when we get home. Qingcheng, Qingwu, don't cry. Your man is back. Smile for me. Yi Qinghan lightly walked over and hugged Yi Qingyu, Yu Qingcheng, and Yi Qingwu in his arms. He patted them a few times, then turned around and continued with a smile. Greetings, third uncle. Greetings, seniors, young master foe, Miss Flower, Miss Dragon, and brother Lu Shui. Don't go back later. Go to the Yi family castle and eat for 3 days. My treat? Everyone was collectively shocked by Yi Qinghan's arrogant attitude. All the family leaders gave him a thumbs up. This young genius of the Yi family was indeed extraordinary. Not to mention anything else, just this aura, this natural and unrestrained temperament. No matter how you looked at it, he belonged to the fierce level. Qinghan, third uncle, is very happy that you can return safely. Second brother has given birth to a good son. Yi Chong's face didn't have the worry and melancholy from before. Since Yi Qinghan could return safely, then the purpose of this trip had been achieved. He was prepared to let them return safely at all costs, even if he had to die a horrible death. Third uncle, don't worry. Isn't it just a bastard from the Shui family who went to the Divine City to learn some tricks? Yi Qinghan laughed. He could see the deep meaning in Yi Chong's eyes. He immediately comforted him. Then, he turned to Yi Qingyu, Yu Qingcheng, and Yi Qingwu and smiled. He took a step forward and said, coincidentally, I also learned some tricks. Wait for me to slap him to the ground. Then, I will come back and chat with you. Qinghan, come back. Shui Wuhan is very powerful now. You are no match for him. Yi Chong hurriedly took a step forward and pulled Yi Qinghan back. Battle chi surged from his body, and he was ready to attack. Third uncle, go back and have a good rest. Believe me, since I can walk out of the god-slaying mountain, I can easily slap Shui Wuhan to death. Look after Qingyu and the others. Yi Qinghan smiled and sent a message to Yi Qinghan, expressing his attitude. Seeing Yi Qinghan slowly walking forward, the people of the House of Aries all had complicated expressions. Yi Qingyu, Yu Qingcheng, and Yi Qingwu did not stop him, nor did they say anything. The thoughts of the three of them were very simple. They were already very happy to see Yi Qinghan again. If Yi Qinghan couldn't deal with Shui Wuhan, then dying together with him was also a good ending. Therefore, they did not do anything. Instead, they looked forward to Yi Qinghan's performance with excitement. This man was a man who could bring miracles. Yu Rou, Long Fei, Xiao Xiao, and Hua Lu looked at Yi Chong in confusion. Shui Wuhan could instantly kill a peak Emperor Realm powerhouse, but Yi Qinghan actually walked past him so easily. Could it be that he was even more powerful than Shui Wuhan? What was wrong with the teenagers nowadays? How could they survive in the future? Feng Zihua, Hua Shuihua, Long Shuelu, and Long Sinan looked at Yi Qinghan's back with a face full of hope. This back had once saved them from a hopeless situation. Would history repeat itself this time? They were very expectant. Are you done with your last words? Shui Wuhan squinted his eyes slightly. His expression was a little crazy and arrogant. However, when he saw this expression in Yi Qinghan's eyes, he remembered that Yi Qinghuang was also like this a few years ago in the Enchanted Garden. He couldn't help but feel a little funny. He rubbed his nose and said, I really don't like this look of yours. But speaking of which, I have never liked you since the first time I saw you on the Cowherd Street in Song City. It's a pity that I didn't catch you on the Nether Island. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to see your disgusting look again today. Yi Qinghan, please don't always act like this, okay? This is not the Moon Tower, nor is it the Nether Island. I can control all your lives here. Do you understand? Aren't you afraid that I will kill your sister? Kill your woman? Kill everyone in the Yi family? Then don't you think it's more appropriate for you to kneel in front of me and beg me to let them go? Shui Wuhan was very uncomfortable with Yi Qinghan's look. He felt that Yi Qinghan didn't seem to understand the current situation. Why was he so arrogant and direct? Why was he so calm and direct? Why could he still laugh so happily in such a situation? Therefore, he reminded Yi Qinghan. He felt that Yi Qinghan shouldn't be standing there with a smile, but should be kneeling and crying, crawling on the ground like a dog, begging him to let go of his loved ones and women. Oh, what's going on? Yi Qinghan raised his eyebrows understandingly. With a surprised expression, he turned his head and looked around. He happened to see Man Gon's bald head, who was looking at him stealthily. He hurriedly said, From your tone, it seems that Shui Wuhan is very powerful. Is he very fierce? Brood Gon, tell me, how fierce is he now that I'm afraid of him? Brood Gon, hurry up and tell Yi Qinghan. Let him understand. Hearing this, Shui Wuhan showed a proud expression on his face. He waved his hand and signaled Brood Gon to tell him. Mangon wanted to slap himself. At the same time, he stood up shyly and said weakly, Young Master Yi, Master Shui is very powerful now. He can kill all of us here in a second. Brood Gon's fearful expression and the other people's expressions made Shui Wuhan feel very comfortable. He looked up to the sky and laughed. There was a trace of coldness in his eyes. He said, Did you hear that? Yi Qinghan, are you afraid? You didn't expect this, did you? Shui Wuhan, can also have this day, right? Let me tell you, today, I will make you pay for the humiliation you have brought me and what you have done to my father and my master. Aren't you very arrogant? Aren't you very arrogant? Didn't you want to kill me in the Yulu? Aren't you invincible on the Nether Island? Why don't you continue to be arrogant and arrogant? Chapter 268. Clap, clap, clap. The response to Shui Wuhan was a few loud claps. Of course, Yi Qinghan was not afraid. He was not afraid at all. Instead, he was watching Shui Wuhan's performance as if he was watching a clown. What was he afraid of? Lu Shi was in the Freedom Pavilion and could appear at any time. In fact, when he entered this place, he had already used one of the 3 chances that Lu Shi had given him. He wanted Lu Shi to protect all the people in the House of Aries. Lu Shi agreed readily, so he had no worries at all. As for Shui Wuhan's strength, he didn't care about it at all. After watching the performance, he clapped his hands in satisfaction. He didn't care about Shui Wuhan anymore. Instead, he looked at Man Gon and let out a long sigh. Man Gon, I haven't seen you for more than 5 years. I always thought that you would change after the incident at the Nether Island. Sigh. I didn't expect that you were still so useless. A mere Shui Wuhan is enough to make you so afraid? How are you going to lead the barbarians in the future? How are you going to conquer the hearts of the barbarian girls? Yi Qinghan's words and Yi Qinghan's attitude had obviously aroused the interest of everyone present. After understanding Shui Wuhan's strength, he could still be so relaxed and continue to tease them calmly. Could it be that he had something to rely on? As for Yi Qingyu, Yi Qingwu, and Yu Qingcheng, their eyes flashed with a trace of fascination. Did you see that? This was their man, the extraordinary man in the world, the one and only Yi Qinghan, who could remain calm even when the mountains were pressing down on him. I'm very puzzled. Isn't it just 12 worms? Why are you so afraid? Although it seems that these worms were fed with a little poison, in my opinion, they can be easily killed. Yi Qinghan casually looked around and gently touched the freedom ring on his hand. A black weapon that was more than 1 meter long appeared in his hand out of nowhere. It was neither a sword nor a saber, but an iron ruler. He waved it in the air a few times and held it with one hand. He pointed it at Xue Wuhan and said, "Come on, Xue Wuhan. Let me see how many of my attacks you can block with what you have learned in the Divine City." Wow! Space ring. What is this black weapon? It seems very imposing. Interesting. It seems that the famous Yi Qinghan also has some tricks up his sleeve. However, can he defeat Xue Wuhan? I don't think so. Even the demon chicken and Tu Hei were instantly killed by Xue Wuhan. What could Yi Qinghan do at such a young age? Xue Wuhan killed demon chicken and black butcher instantly. What can Yi Qinghan do at such a young age? Yi Qinghan's sudden display of power caused the crowd to exclaim softly. They all knew about the space ring. Even the leaders of their factions had a few of them. However, the people present did not have a share. At this moment, when Yi Qinghan suddenly took out a strange weapon from the space ring, they could not help but speculate. However, it was obvious that Xue Wuhan was too strong. No one had any confidence in Yi Qinghan. Oh, it seems that you have made some progress in the past few years. Well, if that's the case, then go to hell. I will take care of your woman for you. Xue Wuhan saw that Yi Qinghan suddenly showed such a move and pointed out that he had 12 worms. He could not help but feel a little shaken. He did not want to drag this on any longer. He decided to take action and kill Yi Qinghan first. Swish, swish, swish. Under Xue Wuhan's control, 10 rays of golden light broke out from the ground and attacked Yi Qinghan from different directions and angles. He believed that no matter how Yi Qinghan dodged, he would not be able to avoid the attacks of 10 golden-shelled worms. As long as one golden-shelled worm bit him, even a god would not be able to save him. Yi Qinghan didn't dodge. Although he had comprehended the law of space and could vaguely determine the direction and trajectory of the 10 insects, he was 80% sure that he would be able to reach Xue Wuhan's side and stun him with his soul by relying on form displacement transposition. However, he did not dodge. He only narrowed his eyes and leaped into the sky. His body emitted a bewitching purple light, and the slaughter god blade in his hand slashed out countless strange blade lights. He chose to attack because he did not need to dodge. Although the golden-shelled worms were powerful and had been poisoned, one must not forget that golden-shelled worms were also living creatures with souls. It was obvious that the golden-shelled worms' souls were not as strong as a peak-stage Emperor realm martial artist. Hence, under the effect of his soul confusion, all 10 golden-shelled worms were hit. 7 styles of chasing wind, exterminating worm slash. Yi Qinghan's soul had already locked onto these 10 worms. Under the effect of his soul confusion, the 10 worms slowed down and started to fall to the ground. The corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. He immediately unleashed a few streaks of green blade light and sliced the 10 worms in half. Although the golden-shelled worms had strong defenses and the slaughter god blade did not have a grade, even the Soul Emperor felt that this blade was a treasure. How could it be weak? Position swap. After Yi Qinghan swung his blade 10 times, he didn't stop for long. He immediately teleported and disappeared into thin air. At this moment, the 10 worms in the air were split into 2 halves. Under everyone's incredulous gazes, the halves slowly fell with the wind and landed on the ground. They were like 20 golden leaves that were blown away by the autumn wind. What's going on? This impossible. Oh my god, it was obvious that Yi Qinghan's attack had stunned everyone present. They looked at the bodies of the golden-shelled worms on the ground for a while before looking at each other. They could not believe their eyes. Xue Wuhan was such a perverted worm that could instantly kill a peak-stage Emperor realm expert. He was a worm that could cause everyone present to freeze in fear. Yet, Yi Qinghan easily sliced it in half like he was cutting vegetables or slaughtering a pig. Impossible! Shui Wuhan could not believe it either. He blinked his gray and black eyes several times. He could not believe what he saw. He had been raising these worms for more than 20 years. They were faster than a peak-stage Emperor realm martial artist. Their defenses were strong enough to withstand multiple attacks from holy artifacts. Their attacks could easily kill a peak-stage Emperor realm expert. Yet, they were chopped up by Yi Qinghan just like that. However, he did not know that Yi Qinghan's spiritual confusion had caused these 10 worms to enter a state of dizziness. He also did not know that Yi Qinghan's Slaughter God blade was actually so sharp. Yi Qinghan's Slaughter God blade sliced his worms like tofu. However, in the next second, he suddenly woke up. Yi Qinghan had disappeared. He felt danger and quickly circulated his battle chi. He was prepared to escape. At the same time, he started to control the remaining 2 worms below him to rush towards him. However, before he could finish doing all this, he suddenly realized that Yi Qinghan had already appeared in front of him out of thin air. With a trace of a playful smile and a trace of purple light, he muttered to himself, "It's over." After that, he directly fainted. Yi Qinghan shook his head slightly. With a wave of his left hand, the Slaughter God blade directly sliced the remaining 2 golden-shelled worms under Shui Wuhan's feet into 2 halves. After that, he single-handedly grabbed Shui Wuhan's neck and lifted him up. He spun him around so that Shui Wuhan's face was facing everyone. At this moment, it was as if Yi Qinghan was carrying a duck. It was extremely casual and casual. After that, he shook his head again. He picked up the Slaughter God blade and slashed at Shui Wuhan's stomach. The black blade ignored the holy artifact battle armor on Shui Wuhan's body and directly pierced into Shui Wuhan's stomach. Chi! The sound of a balloon leaking echoed in the quiet plaza. Shui Wuhan's dantian was directly pierced by Yi Qinghan. Countless amounts of battle chi mixed with Shui Wuhan's blood spurted out. The concentration of the heaven and earth essence energy in the Heavenly Road's main hall increased by 2 levels. After doing all this, Yi Qinghan sighed softly. He looked at everyone with a puzzled expression and said, "Why do I feel that this Shui Wuhan doesn't seem very powerful?" Chapter 269. Silence. Silence. The entire plaza was completely silent. Invakil was confused once again. Could it be that Shui Wuhan was really a noob? Was he just trying to scare them? Otherwise, how could he have been killed by this delicate and pretty young man, his insect, his cultivation base, and carried like a duck? Mangon was afraid. He felt as if he had returned to Duanren Peak. As he stared at Yi Qinghan's calm smile, he could not help but feel a bone-piercing chill. The members of the demon clan were dumbfounded. They had heard that the son of the Holy Venerate had been killed by a young man from the House of Ares. They had heard that the young man carried a bewitching purple light and had a devilish smile. However, they never thought that this young man would be so powerful and terrifying. Shui Wuhan, who had killed their leader in a second, had been killed by him in a second. Feng Xiaoxiao smiled. Yuro Hua and Lu Longfei smiled. They were happy that the House of Ares had produced another peerless genius. However, their hearts were filled with jealousy at the same time. Why did peerless geniuses always come from the Yi family? Could it be that Song City's feng shui was really that good? Yi Chong was excited. His entire body trembled as if he was having an epileptic fit. He told himself to be calm, but his body still trembled involuntarily. Feng Zihua and Lu Longfei were excited. They had been saved once again. Yi Qinghan had once again carried a bewitching purple light with him. He had rescued them from a hopeless situation just like he had done at Duanren Peak. However, the few of them sighed in their hearts. It seemed that it was getting harder and harder to return this favor. Yi Qingyu was drunk. Yu Qingqing and Yi Qingwu were drunk. They watched their brother and their man in such a domineering manner. So confident, so eye-catching, so dazzling. They were intoxicated. That young girl did not yearn for love. That young girl did not like their prince. He rode a white horse and brandished a long sword to rescue them from the demon's encirclement. Today, their man had arrived. He did not ride a white horse, but he had brought a domineering long sword and a beautiful purple light with him. He had successfully rescued them from a hopeless situation. Ah! A blood-curdling scream broke the silence. Xue Wuhan was awakened by a sharp pain in his lower abdomen, a sense of powerlessness all over his body, and a suffocating feeling caused by his neck being squeezed. When he realized that the cultivation he had painstakingly cultivated for more than 20 years had turned into nothingness, he let out a long howl of pain. It was a howl that pierced his heart and was incomparably miserable. Don't scream anymore. The more you scream, the faster your blood will flow. I say, young Master Xue, don't you have any other skills apart from screaming? Yi Qinghan tilted his ear and said in a disgusted tone, Impossible. Impossible? Yi Qinghan, how could you do this to me? How could you cut open my golden-shelled insect so easily? Impossible. I don't believe it. I can't accept it. Xue Wuhan waved his hands and legs in the air. It seemed like he wanted to beat Yi Qinghan crazily. However, when Yi Qinghan used more force, he felt a strong, suffocating feeling again. His body also weakly drooped down. A pair of blood-red eyes stared at Yi Qinghan fiercely. It seemed like he wanted to tear him apart with his eyes. Why can't I do this to you? Humph! Have you ever wondered why you made me vomit blood with a single palm strike on Yelong Street? When you and Yi Qingquang and Yi Rong conspired to kill my sister, did you ever think about why? When you planted a hidden insect on me on the Netherworld Island and almost killed me and hundreds of the elites of the House of Aries, did you ever think about why? Yi Qinghan sneered coldly. The corners of his mouth curled into a mocking arc as he stared deeply at Xue Wuheng and continued. You've never thought about why. You've only thought about yourself. You've never considered that our Yi clan and your Xue clan are of the same lineage. You've forgotten that you're a member of the Battle God Manor. You've forgotten that you're a human and not a dog. Today, I am going to do justice for my sister and for the disciples of the House of Aries who died on the Netherworld Island. I sentence you to death immediately. After he finished speaking, Yi Qinghan squeezed his left hand. Before Xue Wuhan could explain, he directly crushed his neck. A series of cracking sounds were heard. Xue Wuhan's eyes were wide open in anger. His head hung down powerlessly. All the bones in his neck were crushed. Xue Wuhan dead. Bang! Yi Qinghan waved his hand and threw Xue Wuhan's corpse in the direction of the Divine City's experts. It was as if he was throwing a piece of trash. It smashed on the ground with a loud bang, shocking the Divine City's experts, as well as the people of the demon race and barbarian race. At this moment, no one dared to fight with Yi Qinghan anymore. They all looked at him with fear. Yi Qinghan was too ruthless. He killed without hesitation. Moreover, Yi Qinghan was too strong. He could teleport? Although everyone was curious about this, no one dared to ask. Most importantly, since Yi Qinghan could make Xue Wuhan faint, he must have entered the Emperor realm. Rumor has it that his body fusion technique could instantly kill experts of the same realm. Moreover, he was least afraid of group battles. Lord, I'm very happy to see you return safely. And, since you're here, Mangon believes that there's no longer any suspense about the ownership of the supreme treasure. I, Mangon, represent the barbarian race to withdraw from this competition. And these are the 18 treasures that the barbarian race has snatched. Ha! Lord, you can visit the barbarian race when you have time. I will definitely treat you well. Then, we'll be leaving first. The moment Mangon saw Xue Wuheng's corpse, his body shrunk back, and he hastily retreated. At this moment, he no longer had any fighting spirit left in him. He just wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. As long as Yi Qinghan was still alive, he didn't want to leave the barbarian God Manor ever again. The people of the Divine City have withdrawn. The supreme treasure belongs to young Master Yi. These are the 28 treasures that the Divine City has snatched. Of course, the people of the Divine City didn't dare to fight anymore. Their captain, Black 2, was dead. Xue Wuhan, who was stronger than Black 2, was also dead. What else could they use to fight? Although they knew that the God Lord would definitely punish them when they returned, they knew that if they dared to jump out now, Yi Qinghan wouldn't mind killing them on the spot. And the demon race has also withdrawn. These are the 13 treasures that we have snatched. Let's go." The people of the demon race weren't fools. They quickly turned around and fled. Yi Qinghan's decisiveness in killing wasn't any worse than Shui Wuhan's. They didn't want to be bitten by an even more dangerous tiger after the death of a wolf. The people of the barbarian race's divine city and the demon race immediately rushed out of the heavens path. The people of the hidden island didn't move. It wasn't that Yin Sha wanted to snatch the treasures. Yin Sha knew that the island lord of the hidden island had done a favor for the Yi family. Presumably, Yi Qinghan wouldn't make a move on the people of the hidden island. Swish! However, just as the people of the barbarian race's divine city and the demon race turned around and were about to rush out, a frail figure suddenly appeared in front of them along with a bewitching purple light. Chapter 270. Bam! 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 Yi Qinghan swung the slaughter god blade at the row of demons in front of him, who were in a daze. Then he laughed and said, "It's not over yet. Don't be in a hurry to leave. At least let's see what the ultimate treasure of the fallen god mountain is, right?" What a joke! Yi Qinghan was not a fool. If he let them go now, he would definitely be hunted down by the entire continent. After all, once they left, the entire continent would think that he had taken the ultimate treasure of the fallen god mountain. Although the Yi family had a god-grade expert, and Lu Shi would protect him, it was not good to be targeted by others all the time. He did not want an assassin to suddenly appear under his bed in the middle of the night. Therefore, he had a quick telepathic conversation with Lu Shi and decided to put on a show. "Oh, it's good to see it." Mangon's expression changed when he saw that Yi Qinghan was going to attack again. He thought that Yi Qinghan had changed his mind. However, after hearing Yi Qinghan's words, he laughed awkwardly. "Young Master Yi, how dare we disobey your orders?" The demons were very straightforward. After all, they were the weakest team. All right. The people from the God City did not dare to say anything else and walked back helplessly. After a while, half an hour was finally up. Once again, there was a powerful aura in the hall. It was the aura of a god. Then a mocking voice sounded. "Time's up. The ultimate treasure belongs to the person with the most treasures. Of course, whether you can get the ultimate treasure depends on your luck. I'm going now." A beautiful sword flickering with white light and a faint dragon chi circling around it slowly descended towards Yi Qinghan. Yi Qinghan's face lit up with joy. She immediately used form transposition and grabbed the sword in the air before descending slowly. He looked at the divine sword that was shining with divine light and had an extraordinary aura. Many people in the crowd had greedy looks on their faces. This was a legendary divine weapon. One should know that in the entire Fire Dragon continent, other than the city lord of the divine city and the king of the dark forest, no one else had such an item. With this item, one's attack power would increase by at least a few times. However, Yi Chang's face was filled with joy. His body trembled even more excitedly. The experts of the Yi family behind the Yi family all revealed proud expressions. This divine tool belonged to the Yi family. The Yi family had a divine tool. Moments later, their expressions changed. This was because they noticed that Yi Qinghan's expression had changed. It had become incomparably unsightly. Yi Qinghan actually treated the godly sword as trash. He threw it on the ground and cursed, "Senior, this isn't real. You tricked me." What is going on? Was Yi Qinghan crazy? He actually threw the divine sword on the ground? You're still saying it's fake. How could a divine artifact be fake? Look at the color, look at the divine light, look at the aura. One look, and you can tell that it's not an ordinary item. Qinghan, what are you doing? Yi Chang became anxious. His expression quickly changed. He rushed over, picked up the long sword on the ground, and asked in confusion. Yi Qinghan did not answer. He just roared a few more times at the top of his head. He looked very angry. However, the guardian no longer made any sound. It was as if he had already left. After a long time, Yi Qinghan turned his head angrily and said helplessly, "Third uncle, this is fake. I also found one in the God-slaying mountain. If you don't believe me, use your battle chi and hit the sword." Yi Chong blinked his eyes. He raised his left hand in disbelief and gently patted the sword. Crack! The divine sword unexpectedly broke into two pieces, revealing a dark, hollow hole in the middle. There was an uproar at the scene. They did not expect that the supreme treasure of the god-slaying mountain, which they had fought for thousands of years, would turn out to be a fake. Moreover, it seemed that there was more than one fake. The person who gets the most treasures will be victorious. You will have the opportunity to obtain the supreme treasure. Good luck! Of course, whether or not you can obtain the supreme treasure depends on your luck. Opportunity? Luck? At this time, everyone thought of what the guardian of the god-slaying mountain had said and began to guess secretly. Could it be that there were more of these swords? Only one of them is the real one? But where were the other swords? Where was the real sword? Of course, there were also a few people who looked at Yi Qinghan suspiciously. They looked at his black, strange-looking long sword. Could it be that this was the real sword? What are you looking at? Damn, I am so unlucky. Everyone, I am very ashamed. I am not in a good mood, so I have changed my mind. You can't go back like this. Yi Qinghan rolled his eyes and directly flew into a rage. However, he felt helpless. After all, he had suddenly appeared in the heavenly road square and was having fun. He even revealed the slaughter god blade and the unfettered ring. It would be strange if no one suspected him. At this moment, he could only try his best to divert everyone's attention and hope that they would not suspect him. Thus, he shouted in an extremely tyrannical manner. F***CK. When Yi Qinghan flew into a rage, Mangan and the others were dumbfounded. This was not the way to play. Mangan was the first to panic. He did not want Yi Qinghan to chop off his other middle finger or his third leg. He immediately cried out, "Young Master Yi, this is not only my problem. You can vent your anger on us. I have elders and children to take care of. If I die, what will happen to my hundreds of wives? They can't live on their fingers and winter melons." That's right, Lord Yi. You are a magnanimous person. This is really not only our problem. Young Master Yi, you can't go back on your words. Moreover, we did not deal with the Yi family. In an instant, everyone hurriedly cupped their hands, bowed, and wiped their tears. They collectively begged, "Qinghan, where it is possible to let people off, one should forgive them." Look, Yi Chong was also anxious. It was fine if the divine artifact was gone. At least Yi Qinghan had returned safely. Moreover, his strength had become so powerful. The Yi family would definitely be overjoyed when they heard this news. However, if Yi Qinghan killed everyone present, he would offend several forces. The Yi family would not have an easy time in the future, since my third uncle has pleaded for mercy. Then forget it. Yi Qinghan thought for a moment and opened his mouth. This caused everyone to be overjoyed. However, the next second, Yi Qinghan continued to speak, and their mood fell to the bottom. How about this? Leave all of your treasures behind. Anything that is a divine artifact and above, throw them all to me. Don't try to hide it. My mood has not recovered yet. If I find out, I will flip out. After you leave the treasures behind, all of you put your hands on your heads and form 3 rows. Line up properly and walk out. Make sure you are in a neat formation. I'm not in a good mood. You all know that. Don't make me flip out. Plop, plop. As soon as Yi Qinghan finished speaking, many people at the scene immediately fainted and fell to the ground. The remaining people at the scene had black lines on their faces. This was too much. Chapter 271. Yi Tianlong was very anxious. The 3 consecutive changes to the god-slaying mountain had made him extremely flustered, and when he saw Yi Qingyo constantly walking back and forth in front of his eyes, he became even more flustered. "Qingyo, don't walk back and forth. You're making my eyes go blurry." Yi Qingyo was also very flustered, which was why he kept walking back and forth. However, at this moment, after being yelled at by Yi Tianlong, he did not dare to walk any further. He could only stare anxiously at the exit of the path of heaven, his emotions extremely complicated. Yu-ji, the wind, and the fragrance of flowers were also anxious, but they did not show it on their faces. Only their trembling hands under their robes betrayed their emotions. The 4 guards of the divine city were also anxious, and so were the experts of the demon race, barbarian race, and hidden island. Therefore, at this moment, everyone was looking at the exit of the path of heaven, waiting for the final outcome. Rumble! At this moment, the god-slaying mountain shook once again, attracting everyone's attention to the top of the god-slaying mountain. Under everyone's horrified gazes, the little divine pavilion, suspended in midair at the top of the god-slaying mountain, began to shake violently, emitting a loud noise. Then, under everyone's dumbfounded gazes, it suddenly disappeared. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just before the little divine pavilion completely disappeared, a dazzling light suddenly erupted from within the little divine pavilion. Then, hundreds of golden rays of light shot out from the little divine pavilion and shot in all directions of the god-slaying mountain at an incredible speed, disappearing in the blink of an eye. What were those golden rays of light? Why did the little divine pavilion disappear? Foam Cece was the first to let out a strange cry, her face full of shock and confusion. It seemed like countless swords. They flew in all directions of the continent. Yi Qingyo's eyes bulged as he spoke uncertainly. What happened? Why did the little divine pavilion disappear? And why did countless swords shoot out? Just as everyone was in a state of confusion, an oppressive aura enveloped the entire foot of the god-slaying mountain. Then, a low voice rang out, dispelling everyone's doubts. The divine sword of the god-slaying mountain has appeared. The fated shall obtain it. The fated shall obtain it. Obtain it. The low voice resounded through the sky, traveled into the distance, and spread throughout the continent, stunning everyone. The moment the little divine pavilion disappeared, in the spatial turbulence outside the flame dragon plane, a man with 2 horns suddenly opened his eyes and stood upright. He looked at the place where the little divine pavilion had disappeared for a long time, and then spoke faintly. After a long pause, after guarding it for millennia, the 12th divine sword has finally appeared. I can finally return. I believe Lord Blood King will definitely bestow me with the position of City Lord and a divine general divine crystal once he learns of this news. The tall man with 2 horns laughed wildly and flew towards the spatial turbulence, and finally in back, and disappeared into the spatial. Ye divine, and in long, and in and forth. And forth. The woman in red, sitting at the top of the castle once again, put down the book in her hand and glanced in the direction of the god-slaying mountain. Her lips curled into a smile, and she whispered softly, Lu in and forth, and in of and forth, and in they, and in and, ye in and chun, and ye in and forth, and. The pleasant voice broke the tranquility of the ancient castle, as if a pebble had been dropped into a calm lake and caused ripples. The pleasant voice broke the tranquility of the ancient castle, as if a pebble had been dropped into a tranquil lake, causing ripples. In the divine city, the door of the study of the God Master's residence was suddenly pushed open. 2's eyes, one red and one black, were filled with coldness. He looked at the countless golden lights in the sky and yelled. He quickly gathered countless emissaries of the divine city and held a secret meeting. The entire divine city immediately became lively. Countless people in golden robes rushed out of the 4 gates of the divine city and disappeared in the blink of an eye. In the dragon city, the 3 war gods came out of seclusion again. After a while, the countless soldiers and experts under Long Haofu rushed out of the dragon city in all directions. In the Yi family castle, Yi Baihu received Yi Ruoshui's telepathic message and quickly mobilized all the disciples of the Yi family. Countless horses rushed towards the south of the House of Aries. Luohua City, Drifting Snow City, Enchantment City, and West Wind City also moved out at the same time, searching everywhere. The barbarian god abode, demon god abode, and hidden island had countless experts rushing out at the same time. The entire continent was in chaos at the same time. Everyone was busy searching everywhere. They were all searching. The hundreds of golden lights that flew out from the fallen god mountain were all searching for the supreme treasure of the fallen god mountain. Get in formation. Put your hands behind your head. Don't look left and right. Move forward. 121, 121. Just as Yi Tianlong and the massacring god guards were shocked by the disappearance of the little god pavilion, the appearance of countless divine swords, and the voice of the god realm expert from the fallen god mountain, a young voice came from the entrance of the Heavens Road. When they involuntarily looked at the entrance of the Heavens Road, they were all dumbfounded. Their expressions were as if they had been struck by lightning. They saw 3 rows of people walking out from the entrance of the Heavens Road. Of course, this was not the most important thing. The most important thing was these 3 rows of people were all disheveled and in a sorry state. Their faces were full of shame. Their hands were behind their heads, as if they were a group of prisoners being paraded through the streets. What was going on? The massacring god guards were furious. The god-slaying guards were dumbfounded. The burning god guards were embarrassed. And the slaying god guards were confused because the people at the front were all experts from the divine city. With one glance, they could clearly see that only less than half of the hundreds of experts from the divine city were left. Only less than half of the hundreds of experts from the divine city were left. Moreover, the treasured weapons and saint weapons that they had brought with them when they left were all gone. Behind the divine city were the experts from the demon race. They also did not have any weapons or armors. They also had their hands behind their heads, and they had the same embarrassed and awkward expressions. This almost caused the experts from the demon race to go berserk. Behind them were the barbarian race. When the barbarian race saw that the bald man gone was currently naked and only had a red underwear on, he walked in front with an expression as if his father had died. Some of them fainted. The remaining people had extremely gloomy expressions. They wished they could dig a hole and hide in it. What? Their young patriarch had come out twice, and both times he had been stripped naked and left with only his underwear. As for the few old fellows from the hidden island, just as they were about to suffer the same blow, they realized that the people of the hidden island had walked out in an orderly manner. Their expressions were very relaxed and even somewhat proud, as if they were proud that they had not suffered the same humiliation. Get into formation. Put your hands behind your head. Don't look left and right. Walk forward. 121, 121. Don't force me to flip out. When Yi Tianlong heard this voice again, his entire body began to tremble. Yi Qingyo's eyes bulged so much that they seemed to fall to the ground. Yu Ji's lips also began to tremble. Feng Sisi and Hua Xiong looked at the back of the group with incomparable shock. The army of the House of Aries was in high spirits. They were waving at them with flushed faces. It was as if they were an army that had won a great battle and were being welcomed by their fellow countrymen. Chapter 272. All right, that's enough. Everyone is dismissed. Go back to your homes and find your mothers. Everyone, we will meet again. Yi Qinghan held the slaughter god blade in his left hand and rested it on his shoulder. His face was full of smiles as he waved at the people in front of him. It was as though he was telling them that he was in a good mood and that they were all safe now. When the elites from the various factions heard Yi Qinghan's words, they felt as if they had been granted amnesty. They quickly dispersed and headed back to their respective camps as fast as they could. However, when they saw the old fellows from their respective camps looking at them with ashen faces, they felt as if they couldn't wait to slap them to death. Only then did they slow down their footsteps. They lowered their heads shyly and began to beg for forgiveness. Qinghan greets grandfather, Elder Green Bull, and all the seniors. Yi Qinghan brought Yi Qingyu, Yu Qingsheng, and Yi Qingwu along with the rest of the troops as they walked towards Yi Tianlong and the rest with a smile. Yi Tianlong and the rest looked like they wanted to cry and laugh at the same time. Their trembling hands made Yi Qinghan very emotional. It seemed like Yi Tianlong really cared about this grandson of his. 5 years ago, when he had been attacked by demons, he had paid a huge price to save Yi Qingyu, and now he had done so much for him. These were all things that he was willing to call him grandfather. Good, very good. It's good that you're back. Little Han, I'm very happy that you've returned safely. I'm very happy, very happy. Yi Tianlong's voice was a little choked up as he raised his hands slightly. However, he realized that his hands were trembling slightly, so he put them down embarrassedly. His face was flushed red, as if he had become 10 years younger. Little Han, you brat, good, very good. I like you so much. Ha! I'm going to hold a banquet in Yi family's castle. I'll set up 100, no, 1,000 tables, ha ha. Yi Qingyo was beaming with joy as his hands and feet danced wildly. He was extremely excited and happy. The guilt he had been feeling for the past 5 years was finally released. His entire body was relaxed and happy. Young Master Han, I'm very pleased that you've returned safely. Do you think we should go to the Yu family to propose marriage? Yu Ji was full of smiles. The Yu family had just experienced a joyous event, and it seemed like another joyous event was about to happen. Old Long, your family's genius youth really makes us blush with shame. The wind blew gently, and when she saw that the disciples of the various clans were fine, she was in a good mood. Although they did not know what had happened in the God-slaying mountain, they could tell from the details of the scene just now that the experts of the demon race and the barbarian race had been beaten so miserably. It seemed to have something to do with Yi Qinghan. However, at the same time, they were very confused. The people who entered the Luotian mountain this time were all Emperor Realm experts. Moreover, there were many peak Emperor Realm experts. 5 years ago, Yi Qinghan was still a level 1 martial realm martial artist. After staying in the Luotian mountain for 5 years, not only did he not die, but his strength had also skyrocketed, breaking through 2 realms in 5 years. This was simply inconceivable. One had to know that it was easy to reach the peak of the Duke realm, but it was extremely difficult to break through to the Emperor realm. Could it be that both Yi Qinghan and Yi Qingyu had obtained the divine crystal, breaking through directly without needing to comprehend? What just happened? Yi Tianlong calmed himself down and turned his head to Yi Chong, secretly transmitting his voice. At the same time, the grand elders of the various clans also transmitted their voices to their respective clan leaders. There had been several changes in the God-slaying mountain, as well as hundreds of beams of golden light flying out from the God-slaying mountain. They needed to know the exact information as soon as possible in order to make the right decision. Yi Qing'an, come out. Just as the supreme elders of the various clans roughly understood the situation, a furious roar came from the camp on the left, startling everyone. When they looked in the direction of the voice, they saw the massacre god guards flying in the air with furious expressions, roaring in their direction. Humph humph! Yi Tianlong snorted and leaped to the front of the group. He didn't even have to bow and cup his hands. Instead, he directly said, "Massacre God Guard, why did you call my grandson?" The Massacre God Guard's unrestrained roar clearly caused the experts of the House of Ares to have a change in expression. They all glared at the Massacre God Guard. However, the Massacre God Guard had always represented the powerful man in the Divine City in the Fire Dragon continent. He had accumulated his authority for a long time, so no one had any special reaction. As for Yi Qinghan, he smiled coldly and stared at the Massacre God Guard without showing any signs of weakness. There was a peak heavenly god residing in the unfettered pavilion within the unfettered ring. Why would he be afraid of a puny Saint Realm expert? On the other hand, Yu Qingcheng and Yi Qingwu looked at Yi Qinghan worriedly. The Massacre God Guards were bellowing so aggressively. It was obvious that they were looking for trouble. Yi Qingyu just looked at the Massacre God Guard with disgust. In her pure heart, anyone who was rude to her brother was a bad person, and bad people had to be despised. Humph! Yi Tianlong, it's none of your business. Yi Qing'an, you are so impressive. You actually dared to kill people from our divine city? You even stole hundreds of treasured artifacts and over 10 sacred artifacts from our divine city. You are very daring, aren't you? Does your Yi family want to become enemies with the divine city? The Massacre God Guard snorted and said with an unfriendly expression. The divine city had suffered a huge loss this time. Not only did Black 2 and Shuewuan die, but more than half of the hundreds of experts also died. Even the treasured artifacts and sacred artifacts that were bestowed by the Divine Master were stolen by Yi Qinghan. Ever since the Divine City was established, they had never suffered such a crushing defeat. If they were to return with their tails between their legs, the Massacre God Guard wouldn't know how to answer to the Divine Master Tuesday. Therefore, the Massacre God Guard was infuriated. He had to demand an explanation for the divine city's dignity and unparalleled status. Yi Qinghan had stolen the treasures of the divine city and acted so arrogantly. Naturally, he became the punching bag for the Massacre God Guard to regain his dignity. Massacre God Guard, you are exaggerating. Yi family definitely doesn't have such intentions. The Massacre God Guard's words were very harsh, and Yi Tianlong naturally didn't dare to reply. Become enemies with the divine city? What a huge hat. No one, not a single person, not a single clan would dare to wear this hat. Haha. Before Yi Tianlong could finish speaking, Yi Qinghan, who was behind him, laughed crazily. His laughter was filled with undisguised disdain and mockery. The arrogant laughter obviously caused the Massacre God Guard's expression to turn cold, and his killing, intense sword. Meanwhile, the House of Aries' expression turned awkward and vexed. Why is this kid so insensible? Does he really think that he is unparalleled in the world now? Meanwhile, the people from Hidden Island, the barbarian race, and the demon race looked as though they were watching a good show. At the same time, they felt a trace of admiration for Yi Qinghan's arrogance. In the Fire Dragon continent, who would dare to laugh so arrogantly and crazily in front of the four guards of the divine city? Yi Qinghan let out a long laugh and shook his head at Yi Tianlong as though he didn't need to say anything. He took a step forward, puffed out his chest, and stood proudly. He said slowly to the Massacre God Guards, "I'm not afraid of you." He said to the Massacre God Guard, right? I'm very puzzled. I seem to have only killed one person, right? This person seems to be the young master of the Shui family, a traitor of the House of Aries. Furthermore, the House of Aries had also issued a must-kill order to pursue Shui Wuan. I am very puzzled. When did the traitor of the House of Aries become a member of the Divine City? Did he disguise himself? Or did the Divine City intentionally protect him? Chapter 273. In other words, even if I killed them, what crime did I commit? Just now on the Heavens Road, the people from the Divine City killed many people from the hidden island of the demon race, barbarian race, and they also killed many people from the Divine City. Why can they kill them? Why can't I kill them? Only the officials are allowed to set fires, but the commoners are not allowed to light lamps? What kind of logic is this? As for the treasure that you mentioned, that's even more of a joke. Since I can kill people, then I can definitely snatch the treasure. Actually, I can totally kill them all and keep the treasure. Of course, the heavens have the virtue of cherishing life. I'm not a butcher, and I don't want to kill too many people. So, God Slayer Guard, you are not here to question me, but to thank me for not killing them all. The youth's loud and clear voice reverberated around the foot of the fallen God Mountain. Every word was powerful and resonant. Countless people present were collectively speechless. What a sharp-tongued man. His words were polite, righteous, and reasonable, making it impossible for anyone to refute him. Good. Very good. The God-Slayer Guard wanted to say something and refute him. However, he didn't know how to refute him. He could only tremble in anger and point at Yi Qinghan 3 times. He couldn't remember how many years it had been since someone spoke to him like this. The few old fellows from the House of Aries cheered in their hearts. Yi Qinghan had done something that they didn't dare to do. However, they couldn't express it on their faces. Instead, they looked worriedly at Yi Qinghan's frail body. They had a complicated look in their eyes as they silently thought about how to deal with this situation, what would happen later, and how to handle it. The old fellows from the hidden island of the barbarian race and demon race looked even more playful. The divine city's overbearing and arrogant behavior had long made the entire continent unhappy, but no one dared to stand out. Now that someone was going against the God Slayer Guard, they were happy to watch a good show. However, they were very puzzled. Why was this youth from the House of Aries so abnormally powerful? But his words were also so sharp. The atmosphere gradually became tense and oppressive. This was the first time the God City's dignity was being challenged in front of everyone. Everyone wanted to see what the Massacre God Guards would do to redeem the God City's dignity that had been trampled on time and time again. However, what they did not expect was that the massacre god guard did not fly into a rage again. Instead, he sighed and said, I don't care about killing people, but you must hand over the treasures of the divine city. Otherwise, if the divine master gets angry, it will be hard for your Yi family to explain. Yi Tianlong, I will give you face. Hand over the treasures, and this matter will be over. The massacre god guard rolled his eyes a few times and realized that he had done something very stupid. It was publicly acknowledged that people could fight within the god-slaying mountain. Whoever died or was defeated outside of the god-slaying mountain was not a big deal. Now that he was in front of the experts from the 3 hidden constabularies, he could not really kill Yi Qinghan. Otherwise, he would be breaking the blood oath. Moreover, the House of Aries and the House of Aries would definitely not allow him to make a move. Therefore, he was in a difficult position. However, he could not be blamed for being stupid and impulsive. After all, the Divine City had never suffered such a crushing defeat in the past thousands of years and had never been slapped in the face like this. Furthermore, the Divine Master had placed great importance on the treasure hunt at the God-slaying mountain. Therefore, he was anxious and impulsive. He wanted to regain some face and face. However, he did not expect that this harmless-looking youth who was always smiling would not give him any face. He was so unyielding. Therefore, after some consideration, he decided to take a step back and give the Yi family a way out, as well as a way out for himself. After all, if he fought with Yi Tianlong in a barbaric manner, it would definitely cause a strong backlash from the House of Aries. If something happened, he would not be able to explain to the Divine Master. Yi Tianlong quickly sent a voice transmission to Yi Qingniu and Yi Qinghan. After all, the god-slaying guards represented the Divine City and that powerful Baldi. They could not give face to the god-slaying guards, but they could not disregard the Divine Master-slaying guards. Therefore, after a short while, Yi Tianlong decided to give in. However, just as he was about to speak, 3 voice transmissions were heard in his ears at the same time. 3 voice transmissions came from different places. Yi Tianlong, I am the island master of the hidden island. Don't hand it over. If the god-slaying guards dare to attack later, the people from the hidden island will help. I will speak to your patriarch. Yi Tianlong, I am the sword emperor of the battle god. Don't hand over the treasures. If anything happens, the House of Aries will help the Yi family. Sky Dragon, I am Yi Ruoshui. Don't hand over the treasures, but be polite. We will handle the rest. The 3 voice transmissions came from 3 different places: Hidden Island, Dragon City, and Yi family's castle. However, the meaning of the 3 voice transmissions was obvious. They wanted Yi Tianlong to be stubborn to the end. If you don't hand over the treasures and want to fight, then fight. Yi Tianlong's expression changed multiple times. He did not understand why the battle god, the island master of the hidden island, and Yi Ruoshui were doing this. Could they be preparing to start a war with the Divine City? However, Yi Tianlong did not dare to think too much. He gritted his teeth and said, I am sorry. This was obtained through the blood oath of the 3 prefectures. The Yi family did not violate the blood oath. Therefore, I represent the Yi family to reject. Reject? Yi Tianlong's words caused an uproar. They thought that since the god-slaying guards had given the Yi family a way out, Yi Tianlong would definitely give in. After all, this was equivalent to slapping the Divine City Lord's face. Was the Yi family going to start a war with the Divine City? Good. I did not expect that Yi Tianlong and your grandfather and grandson have the same temper. Very good. The god-slaying guard was so angry that he laughed. There was no other way. Since they refused to give in, he had to start a war for the dignity of the Divine City and himself. Otherwise, how would he be able to show his face in the Fire Dragon continent in the future? The god-slaying guard slowly circulated his chi, and his aura started to soar. The other 3 god-slaying guards also rapidly rose into the sky and circulated their battle chi. The Divine City's 4 guards were one. Slapping the god-slaying guard's face was equivalent to slapping the 4 god-slaying guards' faces. Furthermore, the god-slaying guards were the leaders of the 4 guards. Since the god-slaying guards had decided to make a move, they could only brace themselves and do it. The 7 sage realm experts from the divine city of war turned extremely solemn when they saw the 4 guards of the divine city flying into the sky at the same time. They took a big step forward and protected the Emperor realm experts from the divine city of war, as well as Yi Qinghan and the others. Furthermore, they circulated their battle chi secretly and were prepared to make a move at any time. For thousands of years, there had only been 4 god-slaying guards. They had never increased or decreased in number. However, they knew that the 4 god-slaying guards were actually stronger than dozens of sage experts. This was because they knew a combination attack that could multiply the 4's attack power by several times. Therefore, the 4 god-slaying guards would either not make a move, or they would be invincible once they made a move. The barbarian race and demon race slowly started to retreat. They wanted to watch the show, but they didn't want to be targeted by the stray bullets. The people from Hidden Island were very strange. They didn't retreat, nor did they make any moves. They just stood there quietly, with a strange expression. The atmosphere was extremely tense, and a huge battle could break out at any time. Chapter 274. Humph! At that moment, a cold snort suddenly sounded in the sky, causing the tense atmosphere at the scene to collapse in an instant. The faint voice carried with it a supreme, domineering aura and the majesty of an emperor, causing the air at the foot of Mount Luotian to stagnate. Haven't you embarrassed me enough yet? All of you, get over here. 3 constabularies and 1 island. The divine city has no intention of breaking the blood oath. I will severely punish them for this matter. Disperse. Ah! Hearing this voice, the 4 guards of the divine city withered like frosted eggplants. They no longer had the arrogance and domineering aura from before, and their collective faces turned ashen. In the end, they didn't even say a word and flew out with their people, disappearing without a trace in an instant. What was going on? The Lord of the Divine City actually sent a voice transmission? It seemed like he had given in. Everyone was still in a state of shock. It was not until the 4 guards of the Divine City left with their men that they came to their senses. The people of the demon race and barbarian race looked at Yi Tianlong and the experts of the Yi family with astonished gazes. They felt very strange. Had the Yi family become so powerful? Even the Divine City was going to give in? Since the Lord has given the order, everyone can disperse. Brother Sky Dragon, little brother Yi Qinghan, you are welcome to visit Hidden Island when you have time. We will take our leave first. The saint expert of Hidden Island laughed, pulling everyone's thoughts back to reality. The 5 saint experts of Hidden Island cupped their hands towards Yi Tianlong and Yi Qinghan, gave Yi Qinghan a meaningful look, and turned to leave with their men. Seeing that there was no show to watch, the demon race and barbarian race also led their men away in confusion. The people of the House of Ares were also full of doubts. The 7 saint experts had received the voice transmission from Yi Ruoshui and the Sword Emperor of War. They had thought that there would be a big battle that would only end when the god-level experts appeared. They did not expect that things would take such a turn. The Lord of the Divine City had directly ordered the 4 guards to avoid the battle and had taken the initiative to give in, saying that they would be severely punished when they returned. They could not understand such a strange situation, no matter how they racked their brains. However, one thing was clear: they had won. The House of Ares had won. Let's all go back to the Yi family castle. Just as the Green Ox said, I want to set up a banquet of 1,000 tables, and everyone will drink to their heart's content for 3 months. Yi Tianlong didn't care anymore. Yi Ruoshui and the Island Lord of Hidden God Island would worry about other matters. What he needed to do now was to return to Tsang City and celebrate. Celebrate the safe and powerful return of his grandson, Yi Qinghan. All right, let's go to Tsang City. I want to drink all the good wine in the Yi family. Come on, let's go to the Yi family castle. Everyone, Since he couldn't figure it out, he decided not to think about it anymore. Since the God City's city lord had retreated, it meant that he had admitted defeat. That meant that the House of Ares had won. As for other matters, the god-tier experts of the House of Aries would naturally worry about them. The few sages had also thought things through. At this moment, Yi Tianlong's intentions were very clear. Go to Tsang City, drink and split the spoils. One must know that Yi Qinghan had obtained hundreds of treasures and dozens of sage artifacts. Divine City, Lord Pavilion, the fallen god mountain was not far from the Divine City, and the massacre god guards were all experts. They only took half a day to fly back to the Divine City. The massacre god guards did not dare to delay. They ordered everyone to fly to the Lord Pavilion and made them kneel outside the Lord Pavilion. He and the other 3 guards entered the Lord Pavilion directly. Subordinate 4 guards of the Divine City greets the Lord God. We are guilty. Lord God, please punish us. The moment they entered the Divine Master Pavilion, the massacre god guards saw a bald man with strange tattoos standing proudly in the courtyard of the pavilion with his back facing them. The few of them quickly knelt down on one knee and kowtowed in fear and trepidation. Fools! Lord God, too, did not turn around. He only scolded indifferently. Although his voice was calm, it scared the massacre god guards so much that their faces turned green and their bodies trembled. The few of them felt as though there was a huge mountain pressing down on their backs, making it hard for them to breathe. I did not do my job well, and even stole the treasures that the Lord God bestowed. I deserve to die. It's just that the youth from the Yi clan is too strange. I originally wanted to take advantage of the chaos, to kill him and retrieve those treasured and sacred artifacts. The massacre god guard gritted his teeth and endured the pressure on his body, as he explained once again. He knew that if he was not careful, Tu would kill all of them. Bang! This time, Lord God Tu turned around and waved his hand at the massacre god guard. A formless air current crashed into the massacre god guard's chest and sent him flying to the wall of the small courtyard. His strange eyes were filled with anger, and the tattoo on his head looked as though it could move, making him look especially sinister and terrifying. He did not look at the other 3 guards. Instead, he looked at the massacre god guard, who was lying on the ground with blood dripping from the corner of his mouth, and said coldly, "You fool! You idiot! You still don't understand the situation? Do you think I care about those treasures and sage artifacts? Are all of you blind? Did you not see? Are you deaf? Did you not hear? What I want is the treasure of the god-slaying mountain, that divine sword. As long as you get that divine sword from me, I can give you 100 sage artifacts. Hurry up and mobilize all the spies on the continent to find the divine sword. Remember, regardless of whether it is real or fake, get all the divine swords that you can get your hands on. However, don't bother about the divine swords that the 3 residences and 1 island have. And don't even think about the Yi family. Divine sword. The massacre god guards immediately thought of the hundreds of light beams that shot out from the small divine pavilion before it disappeared and instantly understood. Those were definitely divine swords. There were so many divine swords, but only one was real. The massacre god guard hurriedly got up and bowed with the other 3 guards. They immediately arranged for all the hidden forces in the Divine City to start searching. Wait, don't touch the youth from the Yi family. If you do, don't blame me for not being able to protect you. Before the 4 of them left, Divine Master Tu said something that shocked the 4 of them. However, they did not dare to ask any more questions. They bowed again and walked out of the Divine Master Pavilion. After the 4 of them left, Divine Master Tu stood in the small courtyard for a long time. He quietly looked towards the north and did not say a word. After a while, he muttered to himself, "After waiting for thousands of years, the divine sword has finally appeared." However, the Soul Emperor actually made it so complicated and played us for thousands of years. In the end, he even played us? What is the relationship between the youth from the Yi family and that old fellow? It seems like there are still some twists and turns to obtain this divine sword. All the God-rank experts knew about Yi Qinghan's performance in the Heaven's Road. Tu was no exception. However, Yi Qinghan had stayed in the God-slaying mountain for 5 years. Not only did he not die, but his strength had also improved greatly. Therefore, Tu naturally thought of the king of the dark forest, Lord Devour. He thought that without Lord Devour's help, Yi Qinghan would definitely not be able to leave the God-slaying mountain. This was because the restriction on the God-slaying mountain was too strong. No one could enter except for that old pervert. However, he was very suspicious about the relationship between Yi Qinghan and Lord Devour. Therefore, he had ordered the Massacre God guards to stop fighting and had taken the initiative to show weakness. This was equivalent to giving face to Lord Devour. He did not want Lord Devour, who had never cared about anything, to interfere when he was snatching the divine sword. No matter what, I must get this divine sword. That old fellow hopes that you will join in. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless. Two looked towards the north one last time. A trace of ruthlessness flashed across his eerie eyes. He turned and walked into the Divine Master Pavilion. Chapter 275. Yi Qingxian was very angry. However, no one would be in a good mood after being dragged out of their bed in the drunken smoke pavilion early in the morning. Yi Jian was imprisoned and Yi Qingquang was banished. The two big trees on Yi Qingxian's head had fallen, so his days in the Yi family castle had been very difficult. Although Yi Tianlong had not given him any trouble and the family members had not suppressed him because of the first branch's loss of power, he had always kept a low profile and was very sensible. He had always stayed in the Yi family castle and rarely went out. A month ago, Yi Tianlong and Yi Chong had brought people to the Luoshi mountain. Yi Baihu had stayed in the back mountain for a month. Yi Qingxian had sneaked out of the Yi family castle last night and went straight to the 13th Street. He had booked 3 girls in the drunken smoke pavilion to relieve the sufferings of the past few years. However, after a night of hard work, just as he was about to fall asleep in satisfaction, he was forcefully woken up. Damn you, you better give me a reasonable explanation. Yi Qingxian looked at the servant in front of his bed and roared angrily with bloodshot eyes. Second young master, quickly put on your clothes. Young Master Feng has sent word that Great Elder White Tiger has just issued an emergency summon. If you don't go back now, you will definitely be severely punished by the torture hall. The servant secretly glanced at the 3 girls next to Yi Qingxian. He swallowed his saliva and said hurriedly, "You are not a good girl. You are not a good girl." An emergency summon? Yi Qingxian panicked when he heard this. This emergency summon was the most important summon in the clan. The Yi family had not issued it for many years. However, once this summon was issued, all the core members of the Yi family in the House of Aries had to gather at the Yi family castle. Failure to do so would be a serious crime. What happened? Yi Qingxian jumped up and grabbed his clothes. He quickly put them on and rushed out. I'm not sure. When I arrived, the disciples of other cities were rushing into the fort. I reckon that something big is going to happen. The servant didn't dare to look at the woman on the bed again and hurriedly left with Yi Qingxian. Nonsense. If it's not a big deal, would the family issue an emergency summon? Yi Qingxian cursed. He couldn't be bothered to respond to the madam of the Pavilion of Intoxication's fawning smile as he hurriedly rushed out of the door. When Yi Qingxian arrived at the Yi family castle, the square in front of the Yi family castle had already been crowded with people. Some of them were cultivating in the castle, some of them were sent out from the small town, and many of them were unfamiliar to Yi Qingxian. Perhaps they were the hidden forces of the Yi family castle. At this moment, the wide square was densely packed with at least 1,000 people. What happened? Yi Qingxian squeezed through the crowd in a low-key manner. He arrived in front of Yi Qingfeng and asked in a low voice, "What happened?" Yi Qingfeng was only 10 years old, but he looked very sensible. After all, Yi Jian had been imprisoned, so it could be said that his family had fallen from grace. So it was the easiest for a child to learn to be sensible in such an environment. Second brother, I don't know. The Supreme Elder had issued an emergency summon this morning. Then, Mother had asked me to find you. Yi Qingfeng shook his head. His eyes didn't have the same arrogance as before. It seemed that his experiences in the past few years had made him understand some things. Oh. Yi Qingxian turned his head and looked around. He began to listen to the conversations of the people around him. Do you know what happened? I don't know. The family hasn't issued an emergency summon for hundreds of years. I remember that the first two summons were issued when the barbarian traders invaded the barbarian city, and Yi Ruoxue returned to the family after she obtained the war god's blood order. What's the big deal this time? Strange, strange. Yi Qingxian listened for a moment, but he didn't hear any useful information. At this time, 3 people flew over from the mountain behind the Yi family. They were led by Yi Baihu and 2 elders of the family. Everyone didn't dare to talk anymore. They stood respectfully and waited for Yi Baihu's instructions. Yi family's disciples, listen up. Yi Baihu flew in the air. His face was red. He waved his hand and shouted, "You do, Yishu Yi Quan. The 3 of you are in charge of arranging the banquet. Arrange the banquet of the highest standard. The rest of you, leave the city and follow me to welcome the patriarch, young patriarch, and the distinguished guests." Highest standard? Leave the city? Young patriarch? Distinguished guests? When Yi Qingxian heard this, he was even more puzzled. Looking at Yi Baihu's appearance, the Yi family must have encountered a great event. But he didn't understand. Since when did the Yi family have a young patriarch? In the past, Yi Qinghuang was half a young patriarch, but now, thousands of people followed Yi Baihu and walked towards the southern gate of Tsang City. The Yi family's grand movement had already alarmed the people of Tsang City. Countless people followed the Yi family's main force and began to rush out of the city. They were all curious. The Yi family was so grand. Could it be that the Lord of the Divine City had arrived? Gradually, more and more people gathered. 10 miles away from Tsang City was the Pavilion of Glory that the Yi family built to welcome Yi Ruoxue. After waiting for more than an hour, the entire empty field nearby was filled with thousands of people. Swish! After waiting for more than 10 minutes, several ear-piercing sounds came from the southern sky. Everyone quickly looked through the tree eyes and saw a large group of people flying in the sky. The dark mass covered the sky. There were at least a few hundred people. Wow, so many important people and experts. The Feng family, Hua family, Yu family, and Dragon City's experts are all here. Haha, look at the Patriarch and Grand Supreme Elder Green Bull. Their faces are glowing. The God-slaying mountain must have won. Hey, who is the young man that the Patriarch brought with him? Is he a member of the Yi family? He looks familiar. Does anyone know him? Everyone is silent. Later, follow me to welcome them. The young man next to the Patriarch will be the future young Patriarch of the Yi family. This is the highest order from the mountain behind the Yi family. It will never be changed. Later, all the elders will arrange the welcoming ceremony. Do not neglect. Right when everyone was discussing animatedly and feeling anxious and bewildered, Yi Baihu indifferently emanated a trace of pressure to suppress the sounds of discussion in the surroundings before he spoke indifferently. Young Patriarch? Yi Baihu's words were simple, but they shocked everyone present. They looked at the young man next to Yi Tianlong in confusion. They guessed and transmitted their voices to each other. The others didn't know him, but a small number of people present were very familiar with him. For example, Yi Qingxian. Yi Qinghan. Yi Qinghan actually came out of the God-slaying mountain? Damn it, even this can't kill him? Young Patriarch? What's going on? How can he become the young Patriarch? Or is it the highest order from the mountain? It will never be changed? In an instant, Yi Qingxian's face became extremely pale. As the second young master of the Yi family, he had heard his father mention that the highest order from the mountain was issued by the great ancestor, the strongest expert of the Yi family. Now that he heard it, he wanted to cry, but had no tears. Yi Qinghan became the young Patriarch. As long as he didn't die, he would become the Patriarch in the future. It seemed that the first branch would never be able to rise again. Chapter 276. It's him. City Lord Yi Gang of Man City was one of the few people who knew Yi Qinghan. He had heard of Yi Qinghan's deeds, but he and most of the Yi family thought that Yi Qinghan would definitely die on the God-slaying mountain. He didn't expect that he would return safely and become the eternal young clan leader. At this moment, he was extremely glad that he didn't offend him and treated him politely. At the same time, his eyes kept moving, thinking about how to build a good relationship with the future clan leader of the Yi family. Countless people started to quickly plan. Countless scouts from small clans in the crowd quickly spread the news to their respective clans. The Yi family had confirmed their future clan leader. This was big news, very important news. For a moment, everyone's expression was very interesting and thought-provoking. Although Yi Qinghan and Yi Qingyu had already broken through to the emperor level, they didn't have the time to comprehend the flying technique. Thus, after the matter at the God-slaying mountain was over, they could only be carried by Yi Tianlong and the others. There were 7 saints present, including Yi Qinghan, Yu Qingcheng, Feng Zihua, and the others. There were only 5 of them. Thus, it was easy to bring them directly to Tsang City. Everyone flew in a straight line, and the hundreds of them were all at the emperor level, so their flying speed was very fast. After only a few days, they were about to reach Tsang City. Looking at the blurry city that looked like a giant beast, Yi Qinghan felt very complicated. He had spent more than 10 years in this city. He had been happy, sad, and disgusted. He had wanted to leave and never come back. However, at this moment, he smelled a familiar scent, the scent of home. In the Flame Dragon continent, this was his home. Little Han, what are you thinking about? We're going down. White Tiger has brought people to welcome us. Yi Tianlong said to Yi Qinghan with a kind smile. He slid down diagonally and stood firmly on the ground. White Tiger greets Patriarch and everyone. Congratulations on your triumphant return. Greetings, Patriarch, Grand Elder, young masters, and young ladies. Congratulations on your triumphant return. When Yi Baihu saw Yi Tianlong and the others arrive, he immediately welcomed them with a big smile. Behind him, except for the clan elders, the rest of the disciples knelt down on one knee and shouted in unison. Finally, Yi Baihu fixed his gaze on Yi Qinghan. He spread his arms and smiled, saying, Little Han, welcome home. Young clan leader, welcome home. At the same time, the disciples also received the voice transmissions from the elders. They all fixed their gazes on Yi Qinghan, stretched out their arms, and shouted in unison. Young clan leader, welcome home. Yi Tianlong and Yi Qingyu looked at each other in confusion. Didn't Patriarch Yi Ruoshui say that Yi Qingyu would be appointed as the young patriarch? Why did they have to put up such a big battle formation in broad daylight? And it was obvious that Yi Baihu had received orders from Yi Ruoshui to do so. However, the two of them didn't think too much about it. They just looked at Yi Qinghan. Young clan leader, welcome home? Yi Qinghan was also shocked. Such a big scene, such a big battle formation. It seemed that they were all here to welcome him. In just a few years, he had gone from being the 7th son of the Yi family to becoming the young clan leader of the Yi family. His status was even higher than that of the clan elders. For a moment, he felt very complicated. Hundreds of feelings welled up in his heart. Sensing that everyone was looking at him and waiting for him to speak, Yi Qinghan took a deep breath. He didn't say much. He just waved his hand and said 3 words. Let's go home. That day, the Yi family held a big banquet, inviting guests from all over, as well as clans of all sizes in Tsang City. Hundreds of tables were set up in the Yi family castle, and more than half of the wine in the Yi family's wine cellar was drunk. During this time, Yi Qinghan was pushed out by Yi Tianlong, who formally introduced the young clan leader of the Yi family to everyone. As a result, Yi Qinghan was toasted by countless people. In the end, he had no choice but to use his battle chi to force the wine out of his body. Otherwise, he would have been drunk for 3 days. In the afternoon, the guests dispersed. The emperors of the few great clans in Dragon City also left. Only a few Sage Realm experts, Feng Zi, Hua, Yu Qingcheng, and the other young masters and ladies were left. The Sage Realm experts didn't go back. Of course, they were waiting for the Yi family to divide the spoils. Feng Zi and the others didn't have anything to do. They naturally wanted to spend a few more days with Yi Qinghan and build up their relationship. However, Yi Qinghan was brought by Yi Tianlong and Yi Qingyu to the mountain behind the Yi family castle. Yi Ruoxue had already sent them a voice transmission, telling them to meet him after they were done with their business. Yi Baihu was accompanying the elders of the various clans and making arrangements for the Yi family castle. Only Yi Qingyu followed him. Ever since Yi Qingyu met Yi Qinghan, she had been following him and refused to be separated from him for even a moment. Of course, she had the right to meet Yi Ruoxue. Yi Qingwu was accompanying Yu Qingsheng, Long Sainan, and the others, so she didn't follow them. The four of them walked up the mountain and discovered that a black-clothed man was already standing by the lake. The black-clothed man turned his head when he saw the four of them walking over. Under his long white eyebrows, his eyes were full of smiles. "Greetings, elder ancestor." Yi Tianlong and Yi Baihu hurriedly bowed. Yi Qinghan looked at the black-clothed man in front of him. He looked like a middle-aged man, but his eyebrows were white. Knowing that this was the divine-level expert of the Yi family, the elder ancestor who had shaken the continent several hundred years ago, Yi Ruoxue's expression tensed. Pulling Yi Qingyu along, she respectfully knelt down and bowed. Brother and sister Yi Qinghan pay their respects to the elder ancestor. Yi Ruoxue had taught Yi Qinghan many things in the illusory realm of the Luotian Mountain. If not for her, Yi Qinghan might not even have been able to leave the Luotian Mountain. Moreover, he had heard that Yi Ruoxue treated his sister very well, so he bowed sincerely to thank her from the bottom of his heart. Get up, little Han. Welcome home." Yi Ruoxue stood calmly and accepted Yi Qinghan's bow. She smiled faintly and said in a soft voice, "You must have suffered a lot in the Luotian Mountain these 5 years. It must have been hard on you, child. Now that you're home, you don't have to worry about anything. With the elder ancestor here, no one can hurt you. Unless I fall? Ha! Thank you, elder ancestor. There are many people in this continent that can hurt you. Of course I'm not afraid," Yi Qinghan said as he pulled Yi Qingyu to stand up. In his heart, however, he remembered that Elder Lu, who was at the peak of the Heaven God stage, was still living in the Freedom Ring. With Elder Lu's protection, no one in the Flame Dragon continent would be able to hurt him. Little Han, you won't blame me for making a decision without authorization and making you the young clan leader of the Yi family, right? Actually, I wanted to completely take care of your sister. Now that you've returned safely, you can't pass on this position. The future of the Yi family is in your hands. You have to work hard, Yi Ruoxue said with a laugh. Qinghan wouldn't dare. Of course, I'll also work hard to cultivate and protect the people I want to protect. Yi Qinghan nodded and turned to look at Yi Qingyu beside him. Yi Qingyu didn't say anything and only smiled gently. Tell me in detail everything that happened after you entered the puppet passageway of the Luotian Mountain. I need to confirm some things so that I can make a plan. Yi Ruoxue nodded and once again asked about Yi Qinghan's matters at the Luotian Mountain. Yi Tianlong and Yi Baihu were also listening very curiously. Although they had a brief exchange with Yi Qinghan, they didn't ask in detail. Chapter 277. Yes, I passed 3 stages of the God-slaying mountain. Yi Qinghan pondered for a moment before speaking. However, just as he was pondering whether he should tell her everything, he received a faint voice transmission in his soul. Don't tell me about the divine sword and the divine weapon. Don't tell me about my existence. You can tell me about the rest. It's fine even if you take out the divine weapon. The voice transmission came from Elder Lu, and the meaning was clear. Yi Qinghan thought for a moment and reached out to touch the Freedom Ring. Countless treasures appeared out of thin air and piled up on the ground. Yi Tianlong and Yi Baihu's eyes turned green. Yi Qinghan said, "In the puppet passage, I comprehended the Night Emperor's 7 moves, and my attack power increased greatly. I also had a divine weapon that could quickly heal my injuries, so I was lucky enough to pass the 11th stage. Then, I comprehended the law of space and broke through to the Emperor realm. I used the body fusion technique to defeat the Guardian, who was at the 2nd stage of the Emperor realm, and passed the 13th stage. Finally, I entered the small god pavilion and obtained a fake divine sword, this strange long saber, and a spatial ring. Then, I was transported to the heavenly road. You know what happened next? These are the treasures I obtained. I kept a few and handed the rest to the family. Yi Qinghan explained in detail to them. Of course, he hid some things and a few divine weapons. Law of space? You cultivated the shadow step, right? Yi Ruoshe didn't care about the treasures on the ground and asked with a slight frown. Seeing Yi Qinghan nod, he said helplessly, I created the shadow step. Back then, when I created the disorienting steps, I didn't intend to pass it down. It's easy to comprehend the mysteries of the law of space by cultivating the shadow step, but the law of space is of little value. Most importantly, the mysteries of the law of space are very difficult to comprehend, so it's much harder to become a god. Moreover, attacking with the law of space is weak. Sigh. You have the body fusion technique, so there's no problem in attacking. Since you've already embarked on this path, continue down it. Law of space? Yi Tianlong and Yi Baihu also frowned. They knew a little about this law of space. When Yi Qinghan had gone to the Resonance battle, he had taught him Shadow Step in hopes that he would have more life-saving skills. However, he had not expected that he would accidentally comprehend the law of space. However, they didn't know that Yi Qinghan's understanding of the law of space made even Liu Shi envious. And Qinghan understands. Yi Qinghan didn't explain much. After all, he hadn't mastered the profound mysteries of the laws of space. He didn't know the specifics, so he just responded indifferently. Let me have a look at your weapon. Don't worry, I won't take it from you, Yi Ruoshui pondered for a moment and stopped thinking about it. Since the path of comprehending the laws had already begun, she could only continue walking it. If Yi Qinghan had a chance of becoming a god, she could continue comprehending the other laws. And Yi Qinghan took out the Slaughter God saber from his unfettered ring and handed it over. This saber didn't have any divine light, so most people would think that it was a powerful saint weapon. Even a Soul Emperor couldn't determine the grade of this saber, so Yi Qinghan wasn't afraid that they would see through it. However, he knew that this Slaughter God saber could easily cut through Shui Wuhan's saint weapon battle armor. Yi Qinghan was sure that this saber wasn't ordinary. It's a good saber, but it doesn't look like a saint weapon or a precious weapon. It doesn't have any light. It's very strange. Use it well. Yi Ruoshui played with it for a while and handed it over. She raised her eyebrows and asked seriously, Little Han, what's your relationship with Lord Devour? Lord Devour? That Lord Devour? I don't know who Lord Devour is. Yi Qinghan took the Slaughter God saber and put it into his unfettered ring. The king of the dark forest, Lord Devour. Think about it carefully. Are you really not related to her? Yi Qinghan's explanation made Yi Ruoshui and the others even more confused. Yi Ruoshui asked again, I really don't know her. Moreover, this is the first time I've heard of this name. Yi Qinghan thought for a while and shook his head again. That's strange. Why would Lord Devour give a divine crystal to your sister for no reason? Moreover, it's a heavenly god-tier divine crystal. Divine crystal? Does it have anything to do with Qingyu's sudden increase in strength? If it wasn't for the divine crystal, your sister wouldn't have woken up so easily. With this divine crystal, your sister would be able to break through to the divine tier in a few years. After talking for a while, Yi Qinghan finally understood why Yi Qingyu had reached the Emperor tier. In fact, he had discovered Yi Qingyu's strange situation at the foot of the God-Down Mountain, but he didn't have the time to ask about it. He thought that it was because of Yi Qingyu's jade spirit body that had caused her strength to skyrocket. Now he finally understood. At the same time, he was excited and shocked. His sister would become a legendary god in a few years. All right, White Tiger, take Han and Qingyu to rest first. After a while, I'll take Han to the Dark Forest to visit Lord Devour. Then, everything will be clear. It's no use to think about it now. Yi Ruoshui didn't ask anymore. Instead, she asked White Tiger to take Yi Qinghan and his sister away. Forefather, why at the foot of the God-Down Mountain? As soon as Yi Qinghan and the others left, Yi Tianlong asked hurriedly. After all, it was a big deal to offend the divine city. As the patriarch of the tribe, Yi Tianlong had to know the whole story to make a better strategy. Yi Ruoshui smiled and said, We have our reasons for doing so. There are 3 reasons. First, when the divine sword appeared, the god Lord didn't have time to care about it. Second, we're on the righteous side. If a fight breaks out, we old fellows can help. Moreover, the island master was near you at that time. Third, we wanted to test the reaction of the god Lord and Lord Devour. Of course, there are some other reasons that you don't need to know. The result, he was really good. What? Sky Dragon. What should I do when you leave? Yi Tianlong didn't fully understand, so he didn't think much about it, asking for instructions directly. Now, you need to do 3 things. First, continue to find divine swords. The more, the better. I don't care if they're real or fake. Second, take out a part of the treasures Little Han got and distribute them to the Feng, Hua, Yu, and Dragon City. Each family will get 1 sacred tool and 10 precious tools. In fact, these external objects are just to help. They're still related to the comprehension of principle. When you've found enough third-class divine swords, go to the Yu family to propose the marriage between Han and the little girl of the Yu family. Yes, Sky Dragon, I'm going to prepare now. Since Yi Ruoshui had said so, he didn't ask more. Although he felt a little heartache for giving away the sacred tools and precious tools, as he thought about the Yi family's great harvest this time, and the big families of Dragon City had contributed a lot, he reluctantly gave them away. Of course, he would choose the worst sacred tools. The Yi family had a great harvest this time. Not only did Yi Qinghan come back safely, but his power had also increased. Moreover, Yi Qingyu had settled down. This trip to the God-slaying mountain had not only boosted the reputation of the Yi family, but also brought back countless treasures, including more than 20 sacred tools. It was the happiest event in the last 100 years. Chapter 278. Yi Qinghan did not go back to rest, nor did he go down the mountain to the castle. Instead, he went around the other side of the lake, crossed another mountain, and came to an open space. In front of the open space was a row of white walls, and in the middle was a black door. This was the ancestral grave of the Yi family. You two go in. I'll wait for you outside. Yi Baihu reached out his hand and pressed on a part of the wall. The wall shone with a white light, and then became quiet again. This was a simple restriction set by Yi Ruoshui to prevent people from destroying the ancestral grave of the Yi family. Thank you, Grand Supreme Elder. We'll go and pay our respects to my parents, and we'll come out soon. Yi Qinghan nodded and pulled Yi Qingyu through the door. Inside the wall were countless graves and tombstones. Yi Qingyu had been here for a long time, so she knew the way. She pulled Yi Qinghan to a tall tombstone on the far left. Tombstone of Ye's 37th generation descendant, Yi Dao, and his wife, Yu Shui. The bright red words carved on the black tombstone were very eye-catching. Yi Qinghan stood in front of the tombstone, bent his knees and kowtowed. Yi Qingyu also knelt down and kowtowed with Yi Qinghan. Father, mother, your unfilial son, Qinghan, is back. I haven't come to see you for 6 years. You must be blaming me. I promise I'll come to see you more often in the future and keep you company. Yi Qinghan looked at the black tombstone and thought of Yi Dao's gentle smile and Yu Shui's doting eyes when he was a child. He couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions, and tears welled up in his eyes. In his previous life, he was an orphan. In this life, he had an indomitable father and a talented, gentle, and loving mother. Unfortunately, his father died early, and his mother passed away early. He wanted to raise his son, but his parents weren't around. At this moment, his strength had improved greatly. The reputation of the second branch had risen in the Yi family because of him. Yi Qinghan's name had spread throughout the entire continent. However, when he had achieved success and fame, he could not share it with his parents. He could not receive his parents' proud and praising gazes. He felt very disappointed. Brother, don't be too sad. You've already fulfilled mother's last wish. I'm sure father and mother will be proud of you in heaven. Yi Qingyu comforted Yi Qinghan when she saw his lonely expression. Last wish? No, it's not enough. I still have to continue working hard. Back then, I swore in front of the coffin that I would spend my entire life worshiping my parents into the Divine City's Holy Spirit Hall and enjoy the worship of everyone on the continent. Father, mother, don't worry. I will definitely work hard. I will definitely be able to do it. When Yi Qinghan heard Yi Qingyu's words, his expression became solemn, and his eyes gradually became incomparably firm. Pa pa pa. You have ambition. As expected of a descendant of the Yi family, you should have this kind of heroic spirit. Right at this moment, a clap suddenly sounded out from behind Yi Qinghan, and it shocked Yi Qinghan and Yi Qinghan. They turned around to look, and they saw his ancestor Yi Ruoshui that they'd just met. Greetings, elder ancestor. Yi Qinghan and Yi Qingyu hurriedly stood up and bowed respectfully. And, of all virtues, filial piety is the most important. Little Han, I didn't misjudge you. Qingyu, you can leave first. I have something to discuss with your brother alone. Yi Ruoshui looked at Yi Qinghan in admiration, then turned around and said to Yi Qingyu with a faint smile, Han? Yi Qingyu nodded obediently, then turned around and left. Little Han, summon your battle beast. Let me see. Yi Ruoshui waved her hand and directly set up a domain. Then, she said to Yi Qinghan, Xiaohei, Han, summon your battle beast. Xiaohei, come out. Yi Qinghan frowned in confusion. He muttered to himself for a moment, then began to summon Xiaohei. A shadow appeared on his chest, then gradually condensed into a small beast that was slightly larger than a palm. Gigi. Xiaohei came out and immediately threw himself into Yi Qinghan's arms. 5 years had passed, but Xiaohei's body hadn't changed much. The only difference was that the single horn on his head had grown slightly longer and was about the length of a finger. Yi Ruoshui stared curiously at Xiaohei for a while, then said seriously, Qinghan, tell me in detail everything that happened when you summoned Xiaohei's bloodline, how he got through the period of weakness, how he advanced, and how he produced the fusion skill. This is very important. Yi Qinghan was very confused as to why Yi Ruoshui wanted to ask in such detail. Didn't he also have a holy beast? But since Yi Ruoshui had asked so formally, he could only think for a while and slowly said, when I was 5 and 10 years old, my clan's awakening ceremony both failed. Then, before the awakening ceremony when I was 15, my sister took a copy of my father's martial heart sutra and this holy rank soul ring. During the awakening ceremony, after I was awakened by the soul ring, my spiritual sense arrived at a strange valley. There were 4 holy beasts and countless 7th and 8th rank beasts. Of course, there was also Xiaohei. In the Barbarian Mountains, Xiaohei swallowed the Fire Wolf King's magic crystal and got through the period of weakness. He then obtained its inherited memories and the fusion skill. His soul was in chaos, so he sent me a message telling me to wait. He sent you a message? If he could send you a message, you could communicate with him? When Yi Ruoshui started to listen, his expression was still normal. But when he heard about the valley where Xiaohei lived during the awakening ceremony, his eyebrows started to wrinkle. In the end, when he heard that Xiaohei could send a message to Yi Qinghan, he couldn't help but interrupt Yi Qinghan's words and exclaimed in surprise. That's right. Xiaohei can send a message to me. He's very smart. Why? Can't all holy beasts send a message? Yi Qinghan looked at Yi Ruoshui's shocked expression and asked in astonishment. Didn't Yi Ruoshui have a holy beast, the white tiger? Could it be that his white tiger couldn't send a message? My holy beast, the white tiger, can understand what I mean, but he can't send a message. Continue. Tell me in detail. Think about it carefully and tell me everything without leaving anything out. I feel like I've guessed some things. The corner of Yi Ruoshui's mouth twitched slightly, and his expression became even more nervous as he spoke urgently. Seeing that Yi Ruoshui was so serious, Yi Qinghan didn't dare to say anything else. After thinking for a while, he continued, the body fusion technique is called soul dizziness. As long as one soul isn't stronger than mine or Xiaohei's, it can ignore all defenses and directly cause dizziness. The duration of the dizziness depends on the strength of the opponent's soul. Then I used the body fusion technique to kill Shui. In the Netherworld path, Xiaohei was lucky enough to obtain a dragon crystal. After refining it, the body fusion technique leveled up and became a group attack technique, It took Yi Qinghan half an hour to finish narrating everything from start to finish. Unexpectedly, when he finished and looked at Yi Ruoshui, he discovered that Yi Ruoshui didn't seem to be listening to him. She seemed to be in a trance, as if she was thinking about something. Ancestor, what did you discover? After a while, Yi Qinghan realized that Yi Ruoshui was still like this and couldn't help but ask. Huh? Yi Ruoshui was startled awake, but she didn't answer Yi Qinghan's question. Instead, she threw her head back and laughed loudly. Her expression was extremely excited, and her eyes were shining brightly. Her clothes fluttered even though there was no wind, and her two white eyebrows were fluttering up and down. After a while, she stared at Xiao He as if she was looking at a peerless treasure, and said, "Little Han, you've hit the jackpot. Xiao Han, you've hit the jackpot. Let me tell you, your beast Xiao He has a 90% chance of being a divine beast. When it matures, it will automatically become a divine beast comparable to a peak stage heaven god tier cultivator. Moreover, this divine beast of yours has such a freakish skill. As long as it steps into the divine tier, it will definitely be an invincible existence in the heaven god tier. Divine beast?" Yi Qinghan and Xiao He both widened their eyes at the same time, looking at Yi Ruoshui in disbelief. Chapter 279, 90%? Ancestor, how can you be so sure? Yi Qinghan swallowed his saliva and stared at Xiao He. In the past, he often joked with Xiao He. Xiao He joked that he was a divine beast, and Yi Qinghan joked that if Xiao He was a divine beast, then Yi Qinghan would be a god. He didn't expect that Yi Ruoshui would tell him that there was a 90% chance that Xiao He was a divine beast. There are many reasons for my deduction. First, your 9-colored halo. I've studied the Yi family's bloodline awakening for a long time, and your 9-colored halo is of the highest level. When my bloodline awakened, a golden halo appeared, but I could only summon a divine beast. Your halo is of a higher level, so of course, there's a chance that you can find a divine beast. Second, you said that the 4 divine beast cubs in your summoning space are afraid of Xiao He, so Xiao He can only be a level higher than them, god rank. That's the only explanation. Third, Xiao He can transmit sound, but my white tiger can't. This proves that Xiao He is of a higher level than a divine beast. Yi Ruoshui carefully explained and analyzed to Yi Qinghan. The more he explained, the more he was sure of Xiao He's level. Finally, he said mysteriously, "Of course, there's another important reason. It's because of Lord Devour." Lord Devour? Hearing this name again, Yi Qinghan was a little surprised. He agreed with the first 3 points. According to Yi Ruoshui's analysis, the probability of Xiao He being a divine beast was very high. But now, Yi Ruoshui said that because of Lord Devour, he was even more certain that Xiao He was a divine beast. Yes, Lord Devour has never cared about the flame dragon continent's matters, but 5 years ago, he gave a top heavenly god realm divine crystal to your sister. Moreover, I guess that Lord Devour helped you in secret when you came out of the god-slaying mountain. However, you said that you've never seen her. The only explanation for her being so good to you is that Xiao He is a divine beast. The more Yi Ruoshui spoke, the more certain she became, and the more excited she became. Why does Lord Devour treat me so well even though Xiao He's a divine beast? Yi Qinghan couldn't understand. Yi Ruoshui smiled and said, because Lord Devour is also a divine beast. Moreover, he's an extremely powerful divine beast. He's an existence that no one in the Flame Dragon continent can rival. Since she calls herself Lord Devour, and Xiao He is a soul-devouring beast with the word devour in their names, and Lord Devour is a divine beast, it's easy to infer that Xiao He is a divine beast, and a divine beast that has some relationship with Lord Devour. Ah! Yi Qinghan finally understood, but he looked at Xiao He with even more astonishment. That year, Xiao He had said that it wasn't any weaker than the 4 divine beasts in the summoning space. At that time, Shi Yin had thought that Xiao He was at most a powerful divine beast. He hadn't expected that Xiao He had such a great background. Not only was it a divine beast, but it also had a close relationship with the strongest expert of the Flame Dragon continent. After listening to Yi Ruoshui, Xiao He stood up proudly, raised his head, and sent a message to Yi Qinghan. He, big brother, I've told you that I'm a divine beast. Xiao He, I'm a very powerful existence. But I heard from you, my ancestor, that I seem to have some relationship with Lord Devour. I don't know if it's true or not. Moreover, I don't know if Lord Devour knows who my parents are. Xiao He, of course, you're very powerful. When we have time, we should visit the legendary Lord Devour and ask about your origin. Anyway, Xiao He, don't be too sad. Even if your parents aren't here anymore, you still have me, right? I'll be with you forever. Yi Qinghan found a gleam of loneliness behind Xiao He's proud face, so he hurried to comfort him. Before Xiao He had been summoned, he had stayed alone in that mysterious valley. Later on, after Xiao He had learned to transmit his voice, he had told Yi Qinghan that he had stayed in that valley since he was a child. He had never gone out or met his parents. After comforting him, Yi Qinghan quickly raised his head and asked Yi Ruoshui, Ancestor, when can you bring us to meet Lord Devour? After some time, but I'm not sure if Lord Devour will meet us. The last time I went to visit him, he didn't come. Yi Ruoshui pondered for a moment before replying. She wasn't sure about the relationship between Lord Devour and Xiao He, so she didn't dare to guarantee that they would be able to meet Lord Devour. After all, not everyone could meet the king of the dark forest. However, before he could finish his sentence, his expression suddenly changed. He looked at the northern sky in fright, and his aura surged. He took a step forward and protected Yi Qinghan behind him. At the same time, a ring on his left hand flashed, and a long spear suddenly appeared in his hand. As soon as Yi Qinghan sensed the change, he immediately merged with his beast. He held the slaughter god blade in his hand, and his entire body was surrounded by battle chi. He looked at the northern sky as if he was facing a formidable enemy. At the same time, he sent a telepathic message to Old Lu to prevent any unexpected changes. Just a moment ago, the domain that Yi Ruoshui had set up suddenly shattered without a sound. An incomparably powerful aura enveloped the entire Yi family's ancestral grave. This aura was incomparably powerful, as if it had frozen the space here. Yi Qinghan felt that this aura was even more powerful than Lu Shi's. Don't panic. I'm Lord Devour. After a while, a crisp female voice that was filled with vicissitudes of life suddenly arose, and Yi Ruoshui and Yi Qinghan's soaring aura disappeared without a trace. Yi Qinghan and Yi Ruoshui looked at each other and saw the fear in each other's eyes. However, they disarmed themselves at the same time and heaved a sigh of relief. They cupped their hands together and greeted, Greetings, Lord Devour. Yi Ruoshui, bring Yi Qinghan to the Dark Castle. I want to see Xiao He. Lord Devour said faintly. There was no emotion in his voice, but his tone was like that of a monarch, which made people feel that they couldn't resist. After saying that, Lord Devour didn't say anything else and remained silent. That incomparably powerful aura also disappeared along with the voice, as if it had never appeared in the first place. What was even more strange was that Yi Ruoshui's gravitational field had recovered. This Lord Devour is too strong, isn't he? Yi Qinghan took 2 deep breaths. Just now, Lord Devour's cold voice came to him like a hammer pounding on his chest, making him feel like his heart was about to jump out of his chest. It was really terrifying. Of course, Lord Devour is strong. He's the king of the Fire Dragon continent, Yi Ruoshui said with lingering fear as she felt Lord Devour's supreme aura again. Then, if we go there, will he hurt Xiao He? Yi Qinghan recalled Lord Devour's emotionless voice, so he couldn't help but ask hesitantly. At this moment, Xiao He was like a little brother in his heart. Lord Devour's tone made him a little bit scared and worried. I don't think so. If he wants to hurt Xiao He and us, no one can resist him. Don't forget that I've told you that in the Fire Dragon continent, Lord Devour is invincible. If he just wants us to go there, it must be something very important. Yi Ruoshui shook her head. She wasn't worried at all. She was actually excited. This time, she could confirm the relationship between Xiaohe and Lord Devour, as well as the exact information about Xiaohe. If the relationship between Xiaohe and Lord Devour wasn't shallow, Yi Qinghan would be rich. Then, he said, "Go and tell your sister that I'm going to take you there. If we're fast, we can come back in 10 days or half a month. It's okay. Don't worry. Lord Devour will never hurt Xiaohe." At this moment, Old Lu also sent a message to Yi Qinghan. Since Yi Qinghan had refined the unfettered ring, Old Lu could communicate with Yi Qinghan through the unfettered ring. Even Yi Ruoshui couldn't sense it. Okay. Yi Qinghan felt relieved after receiving the message from Yi Ruoshui and Old Lu. He nodded to Yi Ruoshui, then ran out of the ancestral grave. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.